broadcast failed.
Okay, so I think they might be well, we're live on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. We're having a few little technical difficulties.
And we're going to sort out Facebook. No matter what they think.
Yeah, the Facebook are trying us.
They are trying it.
Look, they've actually just frozen it off.
Page.
YouTube, don't even try. That's all I know. Look, now it's like it's become Dad's screensaver.
You know.
You might have to close off the app. Oh, that's them on there. All it's doing is flipping it, isn't it?
That's out of order.
And that's not usual, because that's not how my Facebook operates anyway.
Yeah.
So none of them say anything. Right.
Just there.
Oh, you go.
Yeah, it does bring it down. Yeah. Bear with us.
Technical difficulties.
AKA Facebook trying us once again. As per usual.
Drink book.
Yeah, you already know. That's it.
Right.
Yeah,
then.
now it looks perfect as well.
Okay, sync book. Let's go.
Can't believe it. Yeah.
Right. This time we might be actually with somebody.
Good evening, everyone.
Sorry about that, folks, who may have been waiting, but you know.
I don't know what was happening. Facebook was trying to think, as you lot already know anyway, they try to lock us off every once in a while. It's become the norm now.
I don't know why. We're not that excited.
We're telling too much juice for them, innit? Oh my God.
I know. I really see.
So, I'll just get myself set up here. Even no matter when you take off the volume, it always puts it back on.
Yeah.
I don't really know what that's all about.
It's about Apple and its foolishness.
And as you can imagine, quite a few people will be like, back on the cage again.
Yeah, we are.
Yes, we are.
Well, that's what we were doing. So.
We're on the same subject again, and we're on the subject again because the subject is the subject.
Yeah.
Boring to some, but that's cool. Live your own life. Chat about what you want. That is my answer. Say my teeth. Anybody comes on at the beginning, they'll be like, what are they doing? What are they doing?
Oh, that even make me think of that sellout Patrick. Can't believe. What did I even hear about him that made me know he was definitely a sellout? Can't remember.
Good afternoon, Gerald. Yeah, so recommendations. Well, I'm just trying to see. What I printed off here. I wanna just like get rid of some of it. We've read through some of the introduction.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, and so we got to.
So we were talking about. Okay, I'm gonna have a look at a couple of things in the introduction. We're doing good, Gerald. We're doing good. It's trying to be a bit warm here.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you know English weather, so I don't have to tell you too much.
Fake sun.
the fake sunshine.
Yeah.
You get the sunshine, but it's still cold. That
Yeah.
kind of thing, you know. So, what
There's
can we
supposed
say?
to be a heat wave, so we'll see.
You know,
Yeah.
it swings and roundabouts. You can be in the Caribbean, and you can be, you know, at threat from volcanoes,
All in the same hour.
a threat from hurricane, you know, and all of that. And then in the UK, well, you don't get that.
No.
You just get rain like
Nearly every
9 months
day.
of the year.
Yeah. Even in the summer, it tries it.
Yeah.
So, but we're here for now.
Yeah.
So can't complain. Gerald has already ran away, so he's lucky.
I know. I remember last week.
Mm.
In his shorts.
Yeah, oh
the
yeah,
AC
so add on the AC.
That's how hot he
Yeah, we don't want to hear nothing about this. Nothing. Okay, so let me read a little bit more of Rotten Coconut, Tony Sewell. So I can't remember exactly where we got to. You know, there's some other bits that I didn't highlight.
Oh yeah, that was in
The reason why I didn't highlight these bits, I'm gonna drill them off.
That knows what I read then.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna drill them off bit by bit, right? But we might just do a bit of backwards and forwards, right? So
I think it's better to be in depth.
Yeah. So he gave an introduction. For those who don't know who Tony Sewell is, I'm not going to remind you. Go and look him up.
Yeah,
I say he's a rotten coconut.
he is.
So that's my view about
So do
him.
I. Yeah.
Whatever else he is or was or purports to be, fine. But he is a rotten coconut. That one, I'm 100% sure.
Yeah.
He's of no use to us.
None at all.
When I say us, I mean people who look like us, who even look like him. Too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and his family. But he's no use to us.
No.
Because he's a rotten coconut.
Yeah.
He's gone too far up the government's body. Let me put it in plain English so everybody understands. Right? So, okay, I think where I got to, we said we'd come back to it, was this debate about seeing slavery. I can't believe that you wrote this. I cannot believe that this rotten coconut wrote this in his report. Because remember, this preamble, it's him.
Yeah.
Right? The forward from the chair. So
Yeah,
that's him.
he's the chairman.
Yeah, that's not anybody else. That's not a group decision or that he was coerced into it, you know, majority rules or anything. The forward is by the chair. So that is him.
Yeah, alone.
Rotten coconut, Tony Sewell, and hear him. The making of modern Britain teaching resource is our response. Our. Who is our?
Who's our?
Because not mine.
Not me.
It will be him and his people there.
Yeah, him and his others.
It's our response to negative calls for decolonizing the curriculum. There is nothing wrong.
How's that negative?
With decolonizing the curriculum. Like I said, we're going to take these by the recommendations, and we're going to talk a bit about that, and then we'll see where we go after that. Because I've got some other stuff which comes after the recommendations, where they've gone into a bit more, if you like language and definition and things like that. What's the difference between institutional racism, systemic racism, and so forth, and which if guys remember from the last live we did on this subject, I said that the real issue isn't around that and never has been. The issue is color prejudice, and that's the one that they don't discuss and don't talk about, but that is what it is. From the beginning of time until now, that's what it's been. Because if you even took, let me just say this. if you even took the difference between a white man from Cambridge, average Cambridge man, I don't mean, somebody who's, Mr. Poshnosh, you know what I mean? Just the average guy in Cambridge, and take the average guy in Leeds. They come from two different countries.
Yeah.
Right here in England.
Yeah.
Right? And that's two white people. So that's why you got to understand he has used that to try to confuse people.
Yeah.
Rotten coconut, Tony Sewell. That's what he's done. He's used what I've just said and used that for the basis of why he said, oh yes, Britain has moved on, and racism is almost a thing of the past. No, it is not.
It's not. Unfortunately.
No, it is not.
No, it's not.
No, it is not. Because when you even use the term racism, what do you mean? You've got to define what you mean. Now, in here, Tony Sewell and his people have given their version of what they believe it's supposed to mean.
Yeah.
Now, what you believe it's supposed to mean and what it actually means are not necessarily the same thing.
Exactly.
But now, when we know that the average people out there on the street, and that's what this is all about at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It isn't about what academics think, because academics think a certain way. That's why they are academics, right? So when you look at things and you only look at them academically, and you don't look at reality, you're going to get it wrong.
Exactly.
And Tony Sewell, rotten coconut Tony Sewell, has decided I'm very intellectual and an academic. I'm very clever. Hey, you're black. So what he's done now is he has analyzed data, analyzed people according to him, analyzed circumstances, right? And then come up.
There are people like him.
Then come up with a whole pile of stuff that needs to go and grow some fruit and veg.
Yeah, right.
Do you understand?
Right.
That's how I'm putting it.
Yeah.
Right? That's what he's come up with, because according to him, there's the similarities where the disparities are so much. It's not a color.
So little.
It's not a racism thing.
Yeah. Okay.
See, it's an interesting thing because it goes back to this. For those who haven't heard me say this before, I'm going to repeat it. When I worked in the prison service at Wellingborough Prison, as it was then HMP Millers Park, I was the first and only black officer at the time. They've had others since, and then the place got shut, which I knew it was going to get shut anyway. But I'm not even going to get into that story right now. But
it's for another day.
I told the governor and the deputy governor this place would be gone. But anyway, and they completely closed it, and now they're reopening it as a much larger capacity prison. People at the moment, anyway, it's a big issue that's going on, but it's going to be reopened in a different style, much bigger. When I worked there at that time, I was in the staff office one day, and they were talking about a particular black prisoner, and they forgot that I was in the office because I was just busy doing my things. Yes, this big black bastard. They said many other things, but they didn't get quite to that point yet until then. So when they made that particular quotation, I cleared my throat. I took a big sup of my coffee very loudly. Oh!
Yeah.
Always the case.
Oh, I didn't mean it like that.
Because that's what it is. They're not sorry. They're just sorry they got caught by the wrong person.
Oh yeah, they said all that. Oh, we didn't mean it like that. Oh, we didn't know you were there.
Yeah.
I said, does it matter if I was there?
Exactly.
Or if I was here or not?
Right.
I said that means that had I not been here, you'd have said worse.
Yeah.
Yep.
And only because you got caught out, why you're even apologizing. So no. I don't have a problem with black people. I don't have a problem with any people. this and that, la di da. I said, yeah. Is that true?
I don't have a problem with anyone, but then you come with these nasty.
All I know. So the first one who said that to me, I said, okay. I said, good. I said, do you have a daughter? I said, yeah. I said, so could I marry your daughter then? I know, Mr. I wait for the answer.
Yeah.
For English people, he didn't answer. And all these years later, I'm still waiting for the answer.
Yeah.
Just in case you didn't understand. I know me there how weird. My man is just there with his mouth stuck.
It's just fly catching.
I have no problem. I don't have an issue with black people.
The serious.
And I'm just looking at him and saying, say God.
Yeah, exactly that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's always.
But
the
you
case.
see, here's the thing. When people talk now, oh no, there's no systemic racism, there's no institutional racism. So that little incident then, like that, where I've heard them talking and calling somebody a big black bastard, how would that be recorded?
Yeah.
Because you see, that wouldn't. Here's the interesting thing: Rotten Coconut Tony Sewell knows the truth, right? He knows the truth. He knows that things like that, 9 times out of 10, unless it's somebody like me, who will face them up front on it, and there's not so many people that will do that. But let's give it a ballpark. Let's say even 6 times out of 10, 7 times out of 10, it will go just swept under the carpet.
Yeah. They're the people that pretend they didn't hear.
Because people, two things will happen. Either the staff will pretend they didn't hear, or they'll just kiss their teeth and walk out the office. There they go again, the idiot them.
Yeah.
And walk out.
Yeah.
Or they'll say it's a waste of time me taking this any further. I'll allow
Because
it.
nothing will happen.
Yeah.
What
See?
does that equal back down to?
Systemic and institutional racism. Because they're already saying in their head,
Nothing's
nothing's going to be done.
Yeah.
This isn't going anywhere. So here we are.
Yeah.
Right?
So you
So
just keep quiet and get
to
on.
answer Rotten Coconut Tony Sewell's idea, that as far as he's concerned,
Celebrate.
we no longer see a Britain. Listen, this is words here. We no longer see a Britain where the system is deliberately rigged against ethnic minority. First of all, I'm not an ethnic minority.
No.
I am a man of color.
Yeah.
Right? With Jamaican and Spanish roots.
You
understand? I'm not an ethnic minority. Rotten Coconut.
We're not the minority.
We're not the minority.
Not a minority in this world.
No.
And I don't just go because the world doesn't start at the north of the UK and finish at the south. Right? That's one country.
Yeah.
You see me? I was going to say continent, but even, the United Kingdom of Great Britain, as the Queen says it should be called.
Yeah.
Right? And she knows what she's saying. Well, the world doesn't revolve just around Great Britain. Right? So when you're telling me that I'm a minority where?
Only in their
Right?
eyes.
In the world, I'm not a minority.
No.
In some places in the UK, I might be a minority, and even at some, it's some.
Yeah.
Because some places in the UK now, in those theatres,
You ain't no minority.
right? So I don't really subscribe to this ethnic minority business,
I don't.
which we know nobody does really.
No.
Right?
This is the
But
label
again,
they
it's
force on.
used
Yeah, it is.
for their political, social construction.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now here's the thing. Tony Sewell, Rotten Coconut Tony Sewell says, we, and I want to know who is the we.
Who's the we?
Yeah.
Who is the we?
Well, like Angelica said,
Right?
people like him.
We
That's
no
what
longer
people
see a
are.
Britain where the system is deliberately rigged against ethnic minorities. The impediments and disparities do exist. They are varied, and ironically, very few of them are directly to do with racism. Too often, racism is the catch-all explanation, and can be simply implicitly accepted rather than explicitly examined. Now you see, that's a lot of God help me, I don't even want to say the right words because I'm a Christian, but you don't
Gobbledygook.
you
Right.
understand? It's
Yeah.
crap that he's
That's
chatting.
a nice way to say
Right?
it.
My man is just going.
Absolute Yeah, exactly. Absolute rubbish.
No, man, don't do that.
I told you it's money off.
You know?
Mhm.
Oh, let me just put something in.
Yeah.
Fresh water.
And that's for those people that then be, oh,
Oh,
well, you see,
yes.
look, he
See,
said
see
there's
what
no
he said.
racism, so get over yourselves.
You see what he said.
Because one person said,
You
"Chatting
see,
out their backside."
you see what he said.
He said it's not, there is no system.
Well, that's what
Deliberately
even
rigged.
Hollyoaks is trying to show people that it's still going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know. So we asked the question last time: is the system rigged?
Yeah,
Um,
because we've done the live on this.
and we answered it from that time.
Yeah.
I'm just going through systematically,
Yeah.
and I didn't download the whole thing. I've got like 41 pages here, and there's 258 in the full report.
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely loads there to read.
I've got all the recommendations here, and we're going to talk about the recommendations and maybe whatever else comes up from there. So that's why I'm just trying to set it up. For
That sentence is,
which one?
the purpose of this report is to provide the UK with a roadmap for racial fairness.
Is it?
Really?
Well, you see, the problem with that, as I said, and I don't want to get too far into it because let's go to his recommendations. Is that color prejudice is a real thing that still exists. That's a very serious thing in this country, and that's really where what he's talked about mainly, and try to equate the two things together. Is basically social and economical deprivation. And social and economical deprivation is a thing. It's an issue, and it's a real issue, but it's a separate issue.
Yeah.
The two things are not the same.
Yeah.
And this is where he's failed to understand, because the only people who will understand this are the ones who suffer
And live it.
because they're being classified as a different well, as some people put it, race. There's no such thing as a different race unless you know that you're a Nephilim, because all humans are humans.
Yeah, human
Right?
race, that's it.
So
one race.
what the difference is really is that you are a
Mhm.
different subculture.
Yes,
Right?
exactly.
You come from a different cultural dynamic,
Mhm.
right? And that's really what we mean. Or you are actually a different color in your
Yeah.
skin, and that's why you've got what I would like to class, and they've not put this in there, and fine, because of course Rotten Coconut Tony Sewell, in his view, is much more of an academic than me.
Yeah.
Professor Tony Sewell, whatever, and little old John Chambers here is an idiot. But I would have said, had you asked me, which he didn't ask people like me,
Of course not.
the only people he would have spent long time chatting to would have been other Rotten Coconuts.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we were chatting the same crap he's
And
chatting.
that's a fact. But here's the issue. There's two things that exist really. One is color prejudice, as we
Yeah.
mentioned last time, and we're going to talk about it again.
Mhm.
And the other one is cultural prejudice.
Yes.
Right? Now,
Definitely.
color prejudice and cultural prejudice together equals racism.
Yes.
Racism, again, is a political term.
Yeah.
Social construction and political construction.
Mhm.
So forget it. You don't have to. You want to take that term and put it aside. Put it aside. I have no problem.
Mhm.
Put the word racism aside, because racism is an ineffective term for the behavior that we suffer.
Yeah.
And the behavior that exists. It is
Yeah.
color prejudice.
Yeah. That is the actual.
Which is actually deeper than racism.
Yeah. Mhm.
And why do I say it's deeper than racism? Because you've got light skin
Dark skin rubbish.
and dark skin arguments between female, even males too.
Mm.
I don't want a dark skinned girlfriend. I only want a light skinned one.
Yeah.
I only want a mixed race one.
Yeah.
And all this type of thing. That is color prejudice
Mhm.
and probably mixed in with probably mixed in with cultural
Yeah,
prejudice.
definitely.
And cultural prejudice, because you see now these are the things that he didn't touch. And you know the reason why he didn't touch them? Because
They contradict what he said.
he is a rotten coconut. Because he is so far underneath the government body
Yeah.
that he couldn't touch what I'm touching here.
Mhm.
Right? Because if he did, he'd have to start looking at the real truth.
Yeah.
That you've got cultural prejudice in the sense that you've got black people who don't like other black people.
Yeah.
And I'm using the political term
Black, yeah.
black because I'm not black.
No, I'm
But
not.
in terms of the political term, you've got black people that don't like other black people
Mhm.
because they've got a different culture.
Yeah.
So even if you've got maybe a Nigerian guy dating a Jamaican guy, the mother is already saying, them Jamaican girls are too rude and they're too this and they're too that. You need to find yourself a nice
And all those are
girl
prejudices,
from our tribe.
stereotypes, and all them things.
You see? And then you've got the Jamaicans.
Mm.
don't marry no
no,
African.
no, what you doing?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah. Even I saw a comment and the person was speaking about somebody and it was Jamaican people that were chatting on a thing. And then the person said, "Oh, did that person happen to be an African?" Yeah, on the comment
you see?
section. And then the other person said, "Yeah, you already know." And I just thought this is what I'm talking. I can't even actually look on. I used to love looking on comments. Now I can't because
they
all
make
I'm
you-
seeing is people's prejudice.
and they make you eat it.
Yeah, getting me vexed
Mhm.
because they're so stupid.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Here's the interesting thing. That those particular things like that. What would you say is the root of where they came from? See, all of that came out of colonization,
Yeah,
right? It came out of this divide and conquer business.
yeah.
You see?
That's why in places like the Philippines,
Mm.
they're still bleaching out
Yeah,
themselves.
That's right. Trying
So
to
hard.
look like the overlords.
Yeah.
But then if you go even deeper than that, which today we're not really necessarily going, and we've done some of this already, we've covered it at
Their
different
features
levels.
alone, anyway.
Right? Say that again.
Their features alone, anyway, indicate the people that they are.
Who?
Like
Philippines.
Filipinos.
Never mind just their features, even how they behave.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know. But you see, the other thing is that that dog.
Because he's slyly trying it in there.
Just coming there. The other thing is that we know that some people who are on the face of the earth, they're not people.
Mm.
They're
Yeah.
not humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So
They don't have
we've
our
got that
nature.
as another issue. I'm not going into that now.
That's long too.
Right? But then also all people of colour are not the same people.
Yes.
And that's the other thing that if you say, oh well, yeah, you all came from one family.
No,
you
we
know,
didn't.
well, technically, if you want to
Yeah.
go like that,
Yeah.
the whole world came out from one family.
Yeah.
Right? But when it comes to the fact that if you want to say, well, all people of colour, no, actually no, because this is why we have that disparity. And because those who know, they used that and worked it until it made sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some won't get what I'm saying, and I don't have time right now to explain. But that's what they did.
Watch
Yeah.
back the other
Right?
lives.
Watch some of the other
Yeah,
lives,
and
and you may get it. But all people of colour are not the same.
No.
And those that know, they knew that, and they used it to their advantage. So they worked one against the other.
Yes.
Right? And that's how it's worked out.
Yeah.
Yes, we're all related, but we're not all the same.
Yeah.
And when those DNA things that they're telling people to do come out, everybody comes from sub-Saharan Africa. It is a lie.
Now. It's
So
so
just
boring
forget it.
now. Do you know what I mean?
Forget it. We're not interested.
You're not boring.
So Rotten Coconut, Tony Sewell says, the evidence shows that geography, family influence, socio-economic background, culture, and religion have more significant impact on life chances than the existence of racism. Now, here's the problem. Here's the problem. Let me get one of my pens from the guy over myself. And that's why I follow this proper.
Yeah.
Listen, family influence, socio-economic background, culture, and religion equal who you are,
Yes.
right? All of those things
That's your
equal
identity.
who you are.
Yeah.
And when people are racist, as they want to use that constructed word, I would now say that it's both cultural and color prejudice. When
Family
people,
influence, definitely.
you understand, it's from family influence, grandparents who are there sitting in their in their house, right? Because you may not know this, or we may try to pretend and overlook it. But kids, young people, never mind even kids, her age group now, the ones in their 20s, she's in her 50s. This one.
So
Where does that put you then?
I'm in my 30s. You mean?
That puts you in your 80s.
I'm in my 30s, right? And she's in her 50s. You see? So,
Well, if I look like this in my 50s, I'll be happy.
yeah, I would as well, boy.
so you see, people like Tamar, right? They'll be going to their grandparents. They'll be sitting down. They've come there. Well, okay, not as the last few little months because of the COVID.
Yeah.
But,
The ones that aren't listening to
the
the
ones that
rubbish.
aren't listening to it are still going to their grandparents.
Yeah.
Right? But under normal circumstances, they turn up at Granny's yard, right? And Granddad and Granny are sitting down watching something on the telly, and then he goes, "Ah, that effing black bastard!" And now, because that's Granny and Granddad, she sits there and goes, "Ooh, that's not right."
Yeah.
But then she says in her head, "That's Granny and Granddad, and they're
That's
old,
just how
and that's how they
they're
are.
old.
That's just how they speak." Blam, and she leaves it.
Yeah.
Somebody else hears that from Granny and Granddad,
Yeah.
and they go, "Oh yeah, they are, aren't they?
Yeah. I can see what you mean.
Yeah."
It's only a very, very small amount of people that will actually rise up and say, no,
Yeah.
you're wrong. Do you know what I mean? And I saw on Twitter that some girl, she was getting kicked out of her house on Christmas Day
Because she called out her parents on the racism. Yeah.
Because she said she was tired of it. And she had been away already anyway. I think she was at university or something. And she came back for the Christmas time. And then they were there starting up their racist rubbish. So obviously she cussed them out. Then they was there kicking her out on Christmas Day. So you can see why some people don't even want to say anything in the first place, being in them families, because they're scared. You know what I mean? They're thinking, well, what are they gonna say to me? Or maybe they'll never speak to me again, or etc. etc. They don't have the courage to come out and speak against those things.
Exactly.
And so they just entertain it.
And they're trying to fool us that we can't understand all of it. But this is where it starts from.
Yes.
And then you see then when you're talking about, oh, they can both come, they can be some equalization between them when they both come from socially, economically deprived backgrounds. No. Because you see what will happen. You might have a person of color from a socio-economical deprived background and a white person from the same background, as in they live in the same
street,
even. Fine. Here's the difference now, though. They go to school, right? And they're both in school together. And here's where now we get the minority and so forth issue. Many of them, maybe the school they go to, with the exception of a few areas in the country, people of color may be the minority.
Yeah.
So they'll go into school, and then there'll be a number of children in there who will call them every name under the sun. you A, B, C, D, and F.
Mhm.
Some of them will turn around and punch them in their teeth.
Mhm.
Some of them will turn around and argue and call them something back. Or they may just get into it together in one way or the other, and they'll be, "Hey, he started it, no, he did. He started it, no, he did." And here comes the teacher.
Mm.
And here's the issue
Yeah.
that in a lot of cases, not in
The
every,
issue is it's always the one
but
of
in
colour.
too many cases, they don't support the ones that they should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if they feel like, oh, I'm trying to be impartial, they just try to squash it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Just say sorry, and then oh, you must accept their apology.
No.
Listen,
I'm not
the school
accepting the
tried to
apology and I'm
force
not
me
apologising
before
either.
to accept some idiot boy's apology about go back to your own country.
Mhm.
I said to the school, I said, I was born here. So what country am I going to? Then they were there, but oh.
And you know
Once
what?
again, the CD scratching.
Majority of them white people that are saying them things,
They're not
their
even from
background
here.
is probably
They're
not
from
even
Germany
They're
and,
from
and
Germany
Poland and Russia.
And Russia and
Yeah.
Germany and all them places.
Yeah, and they
And
just don't know
And
it.
that's
Yeah.
part of the problem.
They don't even know their own identity.
That's part of the problem.
but they want to tell you yours.
Mhm.
So, because you see, I mean, we're going to come back to it, but I want to slap him.
Oh, don't. But I could see him and just,
Innit?
oh, I'd be, boy, he'd be screaming.
Because it still will never be the same. You know, I read an article just last week, right? This is how current it is. Just last week. So that's not like miles away.
Mhm.
And in this particular place, two youth were stopped by police. One white, one black. I don't know how many others might have been around at the
A few
time,
friends or whatever.
right? But they handcuffed the black one, said, "Oh, let's have a search."
Mhm.
And the white one was left standing there watching,
Yeah, waiting.
right? And they searched the black one, blah, 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 this, that, to do, all their usual rubbish. The white youth, who is the friend of the black one, asked the police, "What you're doing?
Mhm.
Why are you doing that? How come you've handcuffed my friend and you're searching him, right? And I'm just here."
Yeah,
Yeah, you could have run off.
You see?
yeah, he could have.
And tradition will tell you, and this is what I'm saying, rotten coconut Tony Sewell won't know this because he doesn't want to know it.
Mm.
Not because he actually doesn't know, but he'll
Yeah.
just act like,
Yeah,
"No,
that's
I
pretending
know
that
that.
exists.
No,
He's
that's
not
true.
interested in. That's not
Right.
part
Oh
of the
no,
data.
it must have been
This
something else.
won't be. It's not like that,
Yeah,
but it is like that.
Yeah.
yeah.
It
The
is.
reality will also tell you this, right? 9 times out of 10, you see if something might kick off, or it looks like it is kicking off, and if there was a situation, and I'm talking truth, reality, and anybody who thinks I'm wrong, come and dispute anytime you're ready. If I'm there with a bunch of white guys, right, and I've got something that I know police don't need to see on me, I'm giving it to my white friend.
You already know.
Come in and say, "Nah, search me."
Yeah.
Search me.
Straight up.
Yeah.
And that's how it
Fact.
goes.
Right?
That's how it
They're
goes.
not gonna
That's
search.
not even
They're not
discussion.
going to search them before they search me.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah. Why do you think them man would
Right?
go around with some random white girl?
I can tell you what I know.
Less
Right.
likely to get stopped.
Group of guys. I'm gonna have to disappear 5 minutes. So you lot will have to carry on without. Group of guys can go into a shop, right? Because we've tested this before in my teenage years. God, sorry, but we did it. We've gone in the shop, right?
I've done it too.
White and black. Oh yeah, so they're following around the black in the shop, and the whites are beefing out the
Yeah.
shop hard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is how it used to be
That's
all
how
the
it.
time.
That's how it is.
Yeah,
So
because
imagine that from that time and my time and your time.
Yeah.
Still the same.
because I
But
remember,
racism
right,
don't exist.
when Zakai was young, I remember, yeah, we used to go to this shop because obviously, you know how it was when you went to school. In the morning, everybody used to go to the shop, and
Yeah.
after school, everybody used to go to the shop, the shops that were close to the school. So obviously, we'd get off the bus, go to the shop in the morning, get our little whatever sweets and little drinks or whatever we liked, because you know our school was one of those healthy eating schools, so they didn't even have not one kind of drink or
No
cookie,
snacks.
not even a cookie or anything like that. It was like yogurt, fruit, and that's about it. Yeah. So
Dead.
yeah, it was dead. So obviously we used to go to the shop now. And then this shop, we used to go in there like every day. So this was one of our regular shops because it was on a strip like this with several different kind of shops. And me and Zakai used to always go into this shop all the time. Yeah. Tell me why one day he's come in there and they're talking about, oh, no, you can't come in. You're barred. And all of this,
Why? Because they mistaked him for someone else.
no, it gets worse.
'Cause we
You're
remember that
barred.
one.
You can't come in here. You're not allowed to ever come to this shop again. So obviously we were kind of like, obviously a bit confused. So I've said, it's all right. I'll go in for you, Zakai. So obviously I've gone in. I've got my little things. And obviously as I've been walking around, I've been thinking to myself, nah, I'm saying something. I don't even care if he's going to be chatting rubbish. I'm saying something. So when I got to the till, I said, so what is your problem? I said, why is my brother not allowed in your shop when he hasn't done anything wrong? The man chatting about, oh, he's stolen from here. I said, when? When? Oh, the other day they saw it on the camera. I said, let me see the camera then. Yeah, so then we've seen the camera. He has not stolen at all.
Yeah.
He's holding a chocolate bar in his hand. He's picked up the chocolate bar from the shelf. And bear in mind the camera's on this side so it can see where the chocolate bar is. He's then gone like this and adjusted his bag onto his back and carried on with the chocolate bar and gone to the front desk. No, according to them, oh, he's somehow slipped an extra one into his pocket at that time, even though it wasn't clear on the video that he had slipped anything into any pocket at any time.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and this is what, and then he could never go in there again. They would never let him in there again for all the years. Yeah, never let him in there again because according to them, oh, he stole from there. And then every time I went in there, they were always watching me like a hawk. Yeah, and I just thought,
I would have stopped going in them type of shops.
I just thought I didn't even really know what to do. I just kind of had to you just have to get over it, don't you? There's nothing you can really do.
But that's the problem.
Yeah, it is the problem.
Because we shouldn't have to just get over it.
No, we shouldn't. And this little Tony man, what would he say about that situation? Oh, that was just a misunderstanding. But it's funny that the same misunderstandings are happening
all
continuously over generations.
Yeah.
That's
Even
not
to
a
this
a
day.
misunderstanding, is it? I still go into a shop and the people are there staring me down. I had to tell one security man in Superdrug. I said, "Is there a reason you're following me? Every aisle I'm going, he's there."
I was on the phone to my friend and I had to cuss out the security guy.
Yeah. For the same thing.
Following me around, you know. I thought, because you think that he's not
tested it
following.
at
Yes.
first. You had to
I
test it.
flipped around the corner,
Yeah.
and then I see him.
Yeah.
I said, no.
Every time.
Nah,
That's exactly what
that
I
got
did.
me
I went
mad.
around the corner fast,
That got me
to
mad.
see what he'd do. And then I just waited and he was there, like trying to peek round the side. And I said, "Is there a reason you're watching me?" Then he was there,
Can I help you?
oh, no, sorry, I'm just
Yeah.
suddenly, he's
Yeah.
fixing something on the
But
shelf.
what are you
or-
fixing on the shelf? I thought you was a security guard.
Right then.
Mm.
Yeah, and the workers do the same thing. And I think because, the security guard was saying, "Oh, look, I think that person might be a thief. Watch them, blah, blah, blah."
Or it's because you haven't got a mask on.
Yeah. Any kind of thing, they're trying to find a reason to do these things to you. And this is everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Yeah, I even remember that one time I was on the train. Yeah, I'm just remembering all these stories.
They
now.
all just pop.
They popped back. Yeah, one time I was on the train and the ticket man had asked for my ticket and it was on my phone, innit? So you don't have to chip it or anything. You just scan it. And even once you've scanned it, it shows up, oh yeah, the ticket. So I've shown him the thing. He's been like, yeah, that's fine. So he's gone off. And this was a long trip because this was from like Coventry to was it Coventry? Yeah, I think it was like Coventry to Leeds or London to Leeds or something like that. It was a long trip. So I was on there through different cities. Yeah. And then the man has come back later on. Bearing in mind, I'm sat in the same spot, and in the carriage I'm in, there's barely anyone else about, oh, can I have your ticket, please? I said, what for? He was there, oh, because I haven't seen your ticket. I said, yes, you have. You saw my ticket before. Yes, but I need to see where it's going to. You see what I'm talking about? Because my man's clearly assuming that, oh, I've bought some dud ticket and I'm staying on longer than I should. Oh, she must be because, you know, she's brown or black, as they like to call us. So there must be something wrong with her ticket. Because I didn't see him checking anybody else's in the carriage. Not one person was he asking them, oh, can I see your ticket again, just to make sure. So I just got my phone and
But the thing is, when it's the electronic ticket, there's no need to check it again.
No, there's not, because once you've scanned it, if it is correct, it's correct. What more is there to it?
That's the equivalent of the little hole that they punch in the paper.
Yes. So what more do I need to show you? I don't understand. And the man was like, seriously,
They want to do something that's going to piss you off, so they can turn around and say,
look, see now,
aggressive.
yes. Exactly, Angelica.
Oh,
I think that's what it boils down to.
It
as well.
is. You know it is.
Because then, if I then reacted badly in that situation, if I started cussing
this
and,
is what they're like,
kicking and punching,
angry black woman.
they'd have kicked me off the train, wouldn't they? They'd be straight away, get off the train. You're being aggressive and disruptive, and you can't ride on here no more. Yeah, and that's why I had to just. Yeah, and then when he was there, oh, sorry, I just. Yeah, I said, move from me and don't ask me again for my ticket. Then he was there, oh, that's fine. And going off down.
That'd be fine.
Yeah, but this is what I'm talking about. All these small little things. And this Tony's
and you don't
coconut.
forget them either.
No, you don't. You don't forget them
for your life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually quite disrespectful and disgusting for him to even say these things.
Yeah, they don't exist.
Yeah.
It's about socio-economic and that weren't no socio-economic there. Or cultural thing going on. That was literally the man saw the color of my skin and decided my ticket must be a dud. Simple as that.
Or they would tell you if you don't want such behavior and treatment, go in first class.
Yeah.
And then let me give you a story about first class.
No,
because,
please.
you know, they might. Because if we want to go there,
in first class, and then they try and make out like you don't have a ticket for first class, like you're just gonna go sit in first class when you know it's gonna be a problem if you don't have a damn ticket.
Well, this is the thing.
Well, there's that one, but then also you see whether it's because even there may be again this assumption. Oh well, many of you people wouldn't be able to go in.
And that's why they say that.
You're wrong.
It's disgusting.
Exactly. See, I was in first class, and you know, you can charge your phone and so on and so
everything
forth.
in there. Yeah.
So I plugged in my phone and went onto Facebook.
Yeah.
So because I've gone onto it, it's just gone straight onto some music video or whatever it was, and it came up loud.
Of course.
Now I'm not a child. Right, I'm not even a teenager.
Yeah,
I'm not even in my 20s, let alone right. So I think I understand, you know, where your phone should be loud and where it shouldn't. Within 2 seconds,
you didn't even get a chance.
Right, literally 2 seconds. This little
I already know.
This white woman that feels like she's something special,
Karen,
right? Jumps up from her seat. Imagine she couldn't even sit in her seat. Jumps up from her seat, comes standing over me.
Oh hell no!
Right, pointing her finger. Switch that off now or move.
See what I mean? Who are you to speak to someone like that?
I don't want to hear that music in here.
I'm gonna ask you what you wanted to hear.
So I looked at her because she's still standing over me. Are you going to move? I looked at her. I said, "Go away." That was the first thing I said to her. And by then, when she's reeled out all of her nonsense rubbish from her mouth, the thing is being switched down anyway, which is what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I didn't switch it off because I don't have to switch it off.
No.
So I don't want to hear that. It should. I said, I don't care what you have to say. Go away.
Exactly. Goodbye.
Then I turned my head the other way, carried on with what I was doing.
Mhm.
Goes back to her seat, mumbling, oh, so he's not moving, and then blah, 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 blah. And then now tries to bring other people into it.
That's
Yeah.
what they do.
So
love it.
So she spoke to a white man,
Of course.
Yeah, don't you think? That's what they
Yeah.
do.
and trust me,
Mm.
those of you who know me better, you know I have a different energy for men and women,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now when I saw that she spoke to the white man, now I looked up
Yeah.
because I'm looking to see what
He's gonna
exactly
do.
her knight in shining armor thinks he's going to do. Right? So now I'm looking because I've got a different energy for him. So then she said, oh, can you help me to move my things? I have to move to another carriage. Right? So Mr. Man, like an idiot, is helping her carry all her things. Right? And off she's gone and moved to another carriage. And then he's come back and sat down there. So I just went like that and looked at him and went, you see? But now, again, how would you record that one, Rotten Coconut?
Yeah.
That's another one of them ones that you don't want to hear about.
Yeah.
Because that's a lived experience, and he said he didn't want to know about lived experience.
No.
Because
wants
that's where
to-
the truth
He
is.
wants to know statistics.
Yeah, the
See,
statistics
that
are
is-
rubbish.
That isn't going down in statistics,
No,
is
no,
it?
no.
Because how's it going to be recorded? It won't be recorded as a hate crime,
No.
right? So because this is the problem that we have with
Yeah.
this, with all of this now, this analysis,
Yeah.
right? That he says, well, unless it could be recorded as a hate crime, unless you phoned up the police, say, oh, look, this is what this woman said. And then the police would say, do you really, really, they probably would ask you, do you really want that to be recorded?
Mhm.
Right? Because they're going to be saying for a start, what do you expect us to do with it?
Yeah.
There's nothing, they can't prosecute her for anything. There's nowhere to go with it.
Mhm.
Right? But you and I both well know that the only reason that stupid woman jumped up out of her seat and came to me is because she thought, I'm white
Yeah.
and he's black and I'm going to intimidate him and tell him off
Yeah.
because I'm superior to him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In fact, why is he even in first class?
Yeah.
She'll have all that going through her mind.
Yeah.
So I'm going to intimidate him. I'm superior than him.
I can't believe that people even think like
Oh,
that.
yes.
Yeah, it's scary.
And when she found out that it wasn't working,
Yeah,
then she went
had
to
leave.
try and first of all get help of somebody else,
Yeah.
another white person.
Yeah, to try and
And of
rope
course,
them in.
Gang up on you.
Mhm.
the man saw. Excuse me. The man saw the way I looked at him, so he didn't bother
Yeah.
because he saw that the energy I was ready to help him with was not the same one that I had for her.
Mhm.
So it wouldn't have been quite the same conversation. And he saw that, so he just helped her to move her things. Now, they, in their own little discussion, oh, this black guy, aggressive, came on the train in first class and was playing loud music for ages.
Yeah, ages, and that's what they'd actually be saying.
Mm.
But when I'm getting on the bus, right, and some little chav white man
please
DJ
don't
there, playing his music, loud, and I'm like, excuse me, can you please turn down your music? No, I won't. No, I'm not turning it down. Yeah, this is the things that I'm getting. And everybody on the bus,
Oh yeah, nobody's not saying nothing to
also
that.
doesn't want the music. They're all just
Yeah.
not saying anything. They're silent. They've now become mice. Yeah, when before this, you're sitting near somebody and they're saying, "Oh, this music is so annoying." And no. You then say something. Now suddenly,
No one's not
they're
saying
not
nothing.
on your side. They're
Yeah.
not supporting.
Oh
you.
yes.
Yeah.
Many a time.
But
I've
even
been
the
in that
colorism
scenario.
thing, I've had it when people have obviously thought, oh yeah, she's light skinned, so she might be, more on the white side. And they've tried to say something to me about somebody else who's darker skinned and try to like rope me into their thing. Like, yeah, don't you think that they're just no. And I'm like, no. I'm like, no, I don't see what you're talking about. Or, well, actually, I think you're wrong for that, for thinking that way, etc. Even I tried to tell one person the other day about their prejudice, and then they tried to come back to me saying, I'm from mixed heritage, so how could I be racist? And
Ask them slave masters about that.
They're the ones who are making babies and they
Right then.
and put their own children as slaves.
Yes.
So we don't want to hear about
I'm
that.
not interested.
So let's move on. Because it will be recorded here for whoever chooses to watch it later.
Yes.
You know? I know it's a topic that many people try to stay away from.
Well, you know how it is. People, it's very
Well, that's why we're talking about it.
what's the word? Controversial, isn't it?
Yes.
To say that, but these things, especially now they brought this up.
But Tony Sewell, what the coconut that he is,
Definitely so.
played right into their hands.
Yes, he did. I wonder how much he got paid
Right.
for this.
So he's given them what they wanted. Because this is what they can try to use now as their argument.
Yeah, for everything. Anything you have to say or complain about, boom, race report. They just fling that on you.
That piece of
Well, actually, if you look into the race report on page 72, article 75, as you can see, this is not a real thing anymore. So I'm not sure what is going on with you, but it must be something else. Yeah.
Hear this now. So he says, we found
again with this one.
well, it would be him and the other 9 people, isn't it? That most of the disparities we examine, which some attribute to racial discrimination, often do not have their origins in racism. That doesn't mean anything. No, that might be true because it depends what he examined, right? But also, as we said, and I'm going to repeat, we're talking about cultural prejudice and color prejudice, which they have generally speaking over the years until now used the term racism to explain. And then this is the reason why they feel like they could get rid of racism as a term to say, oh no, this isn't racism, because no, it isn't.
They can get rid of it as a term.
Because it's color prejudice
Yeah.
and cultural prejudice,
Yeah.
and those are not going away anytime soon. And the reality of what we experience on a basically day-to-day basis is color prejudice and cultural prejudice.
Yeah.
You know why it's not going away though? Because they keep finding ways to justify it. Well, it's unconscious bias. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but it isn't unconscious.
There's no such thing as unconscious bias. That's why it's called bias.
It is conscious.
Of course it's conscious.
So hear this now, because this is him. It is certainly true that the concept of racism has become much more fluid, extending from overt hostility and exclusion to unconscious bias and microaggressions. First of all, there's no such thing. Unconscious bias is a misnomer.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a fake made up
It does
thing.
not make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Right?
It goes against bias in the first place.
Listen.
But it's not how can it be
It
unconscious?
might be unintentional,
Exactly.
but it's not unconscious because you know what you're saying and you know what you're doing.
Yes.
Bias means this. A line going diagonally across the grain of fabric, right? That's the basis meaning of it. Then it goes on. It is a preference or an inclination, especially one that inhibits impartial judgment. An unfair act or policy stemming from prejudice.
You see it there?
Right?
What-
So
where's
now
that
you're
come
saying that if it's an unfair act or policy stemming from prejudice, what is the prejudice? Cultural and racial and color prejudice,
Yes.
like I've been saying,
Yes.
which they now then term that racism.
Racism.
Right?
all in
Now
one.
you're saying that it is unconscious bias. How can it be an unconscious thing when it is an act or policy stemming from prejudice?
Right then.
Prejudice.
Unconscious part.
Prejudice. The word prejudice, it's all in that word. Prejudge.
Yeah.
So that's not unconscious.
No, it's not.
Right?
Because you've already made up.
Yeah, you've made your assumption.
You've made your assumptions and your,
Yes.
thoughts in your head already.
And that's
Yeah.
okay that not many people are tuning into this right now. Whosoever wants to watch it later on, that's cool. It's there. But the facts are the facts are the facts.
Yeah.
It cannot be unconscious bias because those two words cannot go together.
No, they don't.
Right?
They're
Because
juxtaposing.
when we're talking, especially when we're talking,
Juxtaposing words.
Yeah.
especially when we're talking about this, bias has to do with the racial, the stereotypical thinking
Yeah.
or mindset.
Yes.
Oh, they're like this.
Yeah.
This is
This
what,
is what they do.
Mm.
This is what they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a prejudice that is already there.
Yeah. So it's not unconscious.
Right? So that's not unconscious.
No, it's not.
That is a concerted mindset
Yeah.
and even conceited.
Yeah.
Mm.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
If we want to be wordsmiths, that Tony
Yeah, you can see the words
rotten coconut Tony Sewell thinks is the only one
waking
who
up
can,
to 10.
who can use words.
Just because you made them up doesn't make them up.
Right? We also can use words.
Yes.
All right. And if we're going to use words, let's use them correctly.
Yeah.
Right then.
You see?
About unconscious bias. I've never heard such
It's
rubbish. It's not even possible. If you know where the term bias comes from
Yeah.
and where it's used, even in like say if you study language or literature, etc., there is no
But people
way
don't.
it can be unconscious.
Think
This
about
is the
how much
thing.
things they're trying to remove out of schools now, yeah?
Yeah.
And now you can see why.
Yeah.
This is why.
Mm-hmm.
Unconscious bias. Please make it make sense.
It doesn't, and it never will.
Right.
It's a false thing.
So recommendation. Let's try and clap this in 1 hour.
Ooh, yeah.
There's 24, but let's just try to,
Fly through
because
it.
I don't think we should go on again another week on this.
What? No.
No.
It's stressing me out.
So recommendation 1 says challenge racist and discriminatory actions.
Okay.
Oh.
Equal Opportunities and Human Rights Commission should receive additional ring-fenced funding from the government so that they can check compliance and check people's policies and practices and check unjust racial disadvantage.
But who's checking?
Right then. The same coconuts.
And then the government should also check, should consider the complex issue of online abuse and the platforms that are used to perpetuate such. So talking about everything online, we're talking Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, the lot, which, as you quite well know,
They don't.
they can't regulate that anyway.
No, they
No,
can't.
they
There's
can't.
no way they can regulate it. Which is why you find pedophiles on Instagram.
That's right, and they'll always be on there saying what rubbish they're saying.
Yeah.
So, recommendation 1, challenge racist and discriminatory action. Fine. The recommendation is fine, but what they've then said in the preamble is a load of rubbish. Because first of all, you need a correct definition of what are racist and discriminatory actions.
Yeah.
Right? And he's again bunched it under the same thing, equal opportunities and human rights. I'm tired.
I know.
I got 23 more and I'm tired.
On number 1.
You know, because it doesn't go like that.
No. I don't understand why
Doesn't
he's
go
trying to
like
make
that.
out.
Challenge racist and discriminatory actions. That is so deep that I'm not even going in it, right? Because if we jump inside that one, we're not coming out until next week.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about it anyway
Yeah.
today a good bit, and in the previous one.
Yeah.
Be fine. racist and discriminatory actions, then start. But no, they don't exist here and they don't exist there and they don't exist there. So in other words, there's not much to challenge then, is there?
Yeah.
But that is an absolute lie. There's a lot to challenge. You
It
see,
happens constantly.
there's a lot to challenge. But first and foremost, if you only want to look at data and you only want to look at statistics, you're never going to get it because there's many, many things that go unreported
Yeah.
for all sorts of reasons.
Yeah.
You know, when a neighbor is on the street calling me a black bastard and banging on the back of my car, I'm not waiting to ring the police and make a police
Yeah.
report. I'm booting him up his butt.
Yeah, exactly. But who's got time?
You see, and
Well, police don't want to tell you when there's nothing
and
we can
sending
do.
him on his way because the police will turn around and say
We
there's
don't
nothing we
have
can
the
do.
resources
Yes.
for
You'd be
this.
lucky if it even gets recorded.
Yeah.
You see,
Because they might even tell you it's not enough of an incident to even write a report.
when my neighbours are calling RSPCA on me and telling lies that I beat my dog with a cattle prod. To when the RSPCA man came here, I had to ask him first and foremost,
Are you okay?
"Are you okay?" And he's looking at me. What do you mean? I said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Why have you come to my house to ask me about a cattle prod? Where would I even get one from?
Exactly.
And furthermore, if I had one, is my dog cattle?" Right? So he's just looking at me lost when I've said all of that.
Mm.
And then when I told him straight, this is racism.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah. All of a sudden, then it's a problem.
you should report it.
Oh yeah.
I said, no, you should report it. Right? I said to him, no, you should report it. And I told him as well, don't come back to my house. You see? Because I said, this is just pure racism. But now, once again, the question again now is, how do you prove that?
Yeah.
How you get, and where's the statistics for that? Because again, that won't fit into Rotten Coconut Tony Sewell's little package.
Yeah.
But it's reality that we who suffer it, we know what it was
Yeah.
and we know what it is.
And we know why.
Yes.
Right?
Things.
Yes, the guy from the RSPCA will turn around and say, well, I'm just doing my job because my boss said I have to come. Him, I don't have the issue because that's why I'm saying that you've got to look deeper to see where the things, how they work. Because he knew where he was coming to. It's not the first time that he's come here. He knew whose house he was coming to. The boss will have known whose house he's coming to. They will also know the colour of the person they're coming to. So don't try to fool me.
Exactly. Because why are you not writing in your report? Do not visit here again.
Exactly.
There's no issue.
You see? But now
you're trying to find an issue.
now that I've told him,
Don't
come here again, and if you do, you better come with police.
Yeah.
Or don't come at all.
Sending
It's been a long time. I haven't heard anything. You see? But you have to carry on wild to get your message across because it's like you don't have any rights.
Yeah.
Or
Already
you are what's the word? You are imagining something
Yes.
that isn't as serious as what you
Oh
think.
my goodness.
You're perceiving the situation
Alexis,
in the wrong
I
way.
hate that.
Bring my drink, please.
Nothing else. Do not try to tell me that my feelings are
I
not
think
valid.
you've got it wrong.
No,
I
I
haven't. No, I haven't. Not at all.
Not at all.
No. I don't know why.
Off you go. Bye.
The ice is melted. Where did she put it in the fridge? Didn't it?
Yeah, that's
What
why.
did she expect? Maybe she's confused.
What is
I
that?
don't know what it is. A walnut.
Walnut.
Look now.
It's even smaller than Alexis just had.
Honestly. So anyway, yeah. Whatever, Tony. So shush.
Yeah, that first
Number
one.
2.
Next.
Review the Care Quality Commission's inspection process. Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
That's good. But who's doing the inspections?
But it'll still be the
Or the
CQC.
reviews? Yeah.
They have to be reviewed independently, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's see what he says. Oh yeah, that the Department of Health and Social Care commission a review into the CQC's approach to scoring employee diversity and inclusion in their inspections. Okay, now here's the thing, right?
It's just draining.
Yeah, it is very draining.
See, the thing is that in fact, I'm not even going there yet. Let me just go through bit by bit and try and because that will give me a headache. He said something, but he hasn't said something, right? So it's going to depend on how they look at it, and this is going to be the problem with a lot of this. I have to say, well, yes, he said it. CQC inspections do need some looking at, and yes, they do. And I've been, I've worked in healthcare for a long time, so I know how it goes. Whether or not the CQC inspection will begin to look at the real issues is another story. Now we don't know, because does racism exist in the NHS?
Yes.
And in the healthcare system?
Yes, it does. 100%.
Right? Let's call it what our term that we began to use, which is colour prejudice and cultural prejudice.
Yes, it does.
And yes, those two things exist heavily.
Yeah.
Amongst the way they treat patients and the way they treat staff.
Yeah.
They exist heavily.
Yeah.
Irrespective of the fact that you have got lots of people of colour working in healthcare. Yes, but most of them are in the lower levels.
Yeah.
Yes, you've got black, Asian, and whatever you want to call them, consultants and so forth. We know. Lots of people are in the medical profession who are people of colour, especially Asians, doctors and pharmacists and so forth. Pakistanis, Indians, and so on. Yes, we know.
But even so, compare their journey to the journey of a white person.
Oh yes, if that's if they were to get into that and start questioning people about their journey, those who have managed to reach management level, and begin to ask them how difficult it has been and what they've faced and what they're still facing and so on and so forth. You might find it an interesting topic. As it so happens, it doesn't happen. He hasn't mentioned anything about. Wait, let me see if he has, just to make sure. Because there's some recommendations here which I think are just nonsense things. Okay.
I'm going to say something after you.
Right, yeah, so that one is not there. I'm not going to say names because there's no need.
Yeah, of course.
And the reason why there's no need is because this will be so simple for anybody who wishes to go and find out. It's very, very simple. There is only one black woman, unless it suddenly changed since I checked it out. There's only one black woman who is a bishop in the Church of England. She's the first one and the only one.
Yeah.
And she complains about
Hmm.
systemic and institutional racism.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
And why? Because they're busy with their white Jesus.
and she's married to a white man with 2 daughters who are half of each.
Yeah.
But they're not, are they? They're women of color, like their
Yeah,
mother.
they are. Yeah. They'll never be classed as white, even if they have white blood.
So let's not even go there. But just so that we put it out there for those who want to try to be clever and funny, they are women of color like their mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay? That's it. I'm not saying any more. Look it up. Woman, black, Jamaican, Bishop,
Bishop.
Church of England.
Mhm.
Boom.
Mm.
There you go. Number 3, improve the transparency and use of artificial intelligence. Go away.
Next.
And that's some
That's
demonic rubbish.
because he's put that there because he had to put it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New World Order.
Right?
Yeah.
New World Order.
Mhm.
It has nothing to do with the color of anybody's
Yeah,
skin.
what has that got to do with racism? What is the help
Nothing.
of artificial intelligence going to do? Because actually, if we really get down to artificial intelligence, there was a scanning thing that was in an airport, right? And it was consistently scanning the people. It was putting the people aside. Oh, you need to be checked. You need to be checked.
People of color.
People of color. And then as well, when I'm, that new scan thing for your passport, I had on like a bandana like this, right? Yeah, and it's there every time I'm putting in my passport. It's there. Yeah, then the man said, "Oh, maybe try to take off your bandana."
And they tell them like to take off their turbans and things as well.
Possibly,
So I just took off my
sometimes.
bandana, and it was still there. So the man would say, "Oh, you're gonna have to go to the man at the desk." Then when I've gone to the man at the desk, right, some little idiot man as well. You can just tell it's one of them, yeah, yes, one of them idiot white men that's just racist, but they pretend that they're not. You know what I mean? Oh, how are you doing today? Yeah. Then he's there. Looking at my passport. I was there for about 5
hours.
ages, asking me, so where are you going to? What
Why
are you
does
going
that
there
matter?
for? When are you coming back? Who did you fly with?
What, was you going on your own?
All these no, I had friends.
For one day.
Yeah, I had friends there. Where are you going? How long will you be there? When's your flight to come back? All these questions. What's your middle name?
Oh my God.
Yeah, and all this stuff, and then was that's fine. You can go now. I wouldn't mind, right? But I look exactly like the picture on my passport. It's not. There's no. Like you can't. It's not a thing where you look at a passport and think, oh, you look a bit different.
There you go. So actually, give them a little squeeze. That's the reasoning. Then maybe
Why they
put
said
that
that?
there because it's about the algorithms,
Mm.
and about checking the algorithms so that they're not so racist.
Yes, yeah.
And they can do that, but they won't.
No.
So I'm not saying any more about that.
Yeah, that one's done.
4, bridge divides and create partnerships between police and community.
Not in the black community, that ain't gonna happen. So
No.
let's move on with that.
But even in my community, what they would call a more socio, because they wouldn't say that
So
sort of
we're
racial,
chums
they
up
call
there,
it
they ain't gonna have work with them either.
socio-economic issues in my area,
Well,
right?
there's white boys that
But
will
then the
burn out the
police-
police vans.
Yeah,
Ain't
but
gonna
why
work
are
with
they
them
burning
either.
the police van? Because the police are treating them like trash.
Yeah.
When they're not doing nothing half the time.
Mm-hmm.
They're harassing
But that's
them.
what I mean. That one ain't gonna work.
No.
But you know what? I actually think that this recommendation will probably be taken up by the
police.
Minister.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
It ain't gonna work because
if
the
I think-
communities don't trust the police.
Well, even so, but you know, these things are not done per se for the sake of the community.
No.
They're done
Yeah.
for the government's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that people cannot say the government didn't do this or the government didn't
Yeah.
try this or,
Yeah.
you know, so on and so forth. A, B, C. So
Mhm.
if we go by that premise, I'm old enough to know different groups and understand different groups that have gone through the ages for a while.
Mhm.
I was part of one, the Northamptonshire Police Authority. Police authorities are now defunct and don't exist anymore.
Mm.
What they're suggesting here is very similar.
Mm.
Not exactly
what
the
it-
same, but pretty similar in a way.
Mm.
The police authority was made up of independent members
Mhm.
who were people who came out of the local communities.
Mm.
So you could have, you know, people of color from Caribbean, Asian, Pakistani, or you know, Muslims, or whatsoever one of those. And then you had political members. So you had members from Conservatives, you had members from the Labour, and so on, and they all met all together. We all made up the police authority,
Yeah.
Mm.
and we would oversee the work of the police, have meetings with the chief constable and other high-ranking officers,
Mhm.
and also the the county council chief executive was an advisor, because that's his position in the county council. So you know,
Yeah.
he was there talking about what's law and what's not, and what you can and can't do, and
Mm.
blah 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 blah. So you know, and one of my roles, which they avidly wanted me to do, did I didn't even hardly have time to do it, was to go into sixth form colleges and so forth on the behalf of the police authority. But basically to talk about, well, firstly, talk about the police authority and to talk about the work of the police and, you know, talk to young people in sixth form and so forth. What do they think? What do they think should be different, etc., etc. It's very interesting, actually. They gave me, you know, sort of a bit of a scripted thing to deliver,
Yeah, but you could kind of just.
and then allow people to say what they want to say and
Yeah.
record what they say
Mhm.
and bring it back. It was quite interesting. And I think, you know, what they're suggesting here, this safeguarding trust groups, is going to be something very similar.
Mm.
I'm going to be looking continuously to see what comes out, because the minute it comes out public, I'm jumping on it.
Mhm.
Because this is what I keep saying to people all the time: you need to be involved.
Yeah.
You know,
In what's actually going
it's
on.
it's all good and well talking from a distance, but where and okay, yes, there are independent things. You can have your own group doing this and your own group doing that, but you also need to deliberately get involved in the governmental ones.
Mhm.
You know, those are the ones. Those are the ones where we will tend eventually to have more influence.
Yeah.
You know, but if all we do is sit back and just talk and don't get involved in anything politically or otherwise, then we have no voice.
Mhm.
And it would be left to people like Rotten Coconut, Tony Sewell, because
Yeah.
basically he's the
He's
one
pushed
that's
himself
that's
up.
that's there and you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly
You
it,
know,
isn't it? That's the
Um,
biggest issue.
and this is it. And so yeah, there's a lot of work still to be done where communities and policing are concerned. And well, we're going to come back to that because there's another recommendation on it. Number 5, improve training to provide police officers with practical skills to interact with communities. Well, see, this is the thing: is that where are they going to get that training from?
Right then.
Right, because that's what you've got to watch. Because
Isn't that what they're supposed to be doing anyway?
you know, the whole issue with police and people of color is a serious issue.
Yeah. And the
Right?
training
It's
can't
not
change
even a
that.
joke.
It is a serious issue.
Yeah.
So I would wonder, because they say this would be a requirement, that de-escalation training will be required for all new police officers joining the service and upscale to include all current serving officers who are expected to interact with the public as part of their role. So this will become a key aspect of continual professional development within different stages and levels of policing. All sounds very good, right? But the thing is that the policing culture has to change a lot for people to accept that there's any reality in that. And I, you know,
There's not even more to be said. That's why I'm not even talking.
I'm not even going to say a word more.
Because once again,
Right,
that's another
because-
one that will be until next year.
Because again, it's one of those where you could say the proof of the pudding is in the eating.
Yeah.
It's going to need scrutiny from those from the again. This is why I say that they may well implement the community's what has he called it?
Yeah.
They've called it.
It had a little name, didn't it?
Safeguarding trust groups.
That's it.
I believe that those things will become a reality.
Yeah, I think they will.
And the reason why I believe they'll become a reality is because they're going to use that to try and prove a point and say, well, look, you now have your own,
safeguard,
as it were, independent group who can look at how the police are behaving towards certain people in the communities.
Yeah. Well,
The only thing, as you quite know, is that if they're going to say, let's say, for instance, they say we want, 12 people representative on that body who can be anybody from any of the communities. Well, you know that's what they say, but if the selection process is contrived.
Yeah.
So some people will be weeded out unless they're very, very resilient at getting
and
through
continuously push
that, and find a way around it.
Yeah.
So let's see. And from day one, that's what many people in communities would already be saying.
Yeah. And as well,
Go on.
because you just know that, because you know how it is. Like, we already know now that everywhere is infiltrated with these little fake pretending they're being nice people, but really they are disgustingly racist. Yeah. And what if that gets infiltrated? Who's going to be checking into that?
Well,
Exactly.
Yeah.
let's see what the process will be.
So we'll see when it comes.
For the application
Yeah.
and recruitment.
Yeah, we'll see from there. We'll know.
It's not a bad idea.
No, it's not a bad idea.
Number 6, replicate the factors of educational success for all communities.
Hey.
Now, what they've said here is that according to them, the successes experienced by Black, African, Chinese, Bangladeshi, and Indian ethnic groups is not the same for Black Caribbeans.
Yeah, this is what the song they've been singing hard, very hard.
Yeah, that's all part of their divide and conquer crap.
Right? So they want people to know and understand. Listen, let me tell you something. We don't care.
You already know.
Right? I'm saying it plain, and I'm not a person that's dumb. I'm not a person that doesn't study or hasn't studied.
I'm not interested.
But I don't care.
Yeah.
And you know why I don't care? Because it's rubbish. Right? It's rubbish. Let me say it.
Rubbish.
Yeah.
It's trash. It's nonsense. It doesn't mean a damn thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Sorry, but it doesn't.
No.
Because sorry, but I remember the low sets in my school, and there was every kind of person up in there. There wasn't no specific person.
Yeah.
It wasn't specifically Caribbeans or whoever the Black people were, as they call it. They weren't specifically Caribbeans, and the Black people who were at the top of the school as well were not specifically Africans.
No.
So what's your points?
And also,
No point.
if you want to go by that, if you want to go by that, in terms of who's been educationally successful and who isn't, you will also find that if you were to go back and analyze in a little bit more detail, which of course rotten coconut dinosaur will not do,
Of course not.
because then that would now start to come to lived experiences, not the statistics.
Yep.
See? Because what they'll have, statistics will show, oh, the Black Caribbean boys have been sent out of the class
Far too much.
far too much more than the others.
Or isolated.
But they'll turn that statistics around, say it's because of their behavior
Yeah.
and because of this.
family.
No,
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 no.
actually, no,
Mhm.
right? Because then well, this is where now when you come to the socio-economic and the cultural dynamics and things like that, let's use it now.
Yeah.
Because you see, here's the thing, and this is why I said we're not all the same.
Mm.
A lot of Caribbean blooded young males are not the same as African blooded
Yep.
young males.
Yeah, they have a different nature.
They have a different nature,
That's a fact.
right? So some of the ones who came from Africa were born in Africa and came here as small youngsters, picnic babies, etc. Some of them, their parents were from Africa. They came here and they were born here to a Nigerian father and mother, Ghanaian father and mother, Kenyan father and mother, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of differences that Rotten Coconut Tony Sewell doesn't want to look at in the dynamics of how they get on in education and otherwise.
Yeah.
Right? Because even the identity crisis is different,
Yep.
Yes, it is.
right?
Completely.
It's different. Because, for instance, these two of my children, they know their grandmother, Violet, and that's it.
Yeah.
They've not been where she's buried.
Yeah.
Her mother, who is their great grandmother, they don't know where she's buried. My grandmother's mother, who is their great great grandmother, they don't know where she's buried. I do, but it's not in England,
Yeah,
and they've not been there.
exactly.
You'll have maybe somebody from Kenya, like my wife, right? Who knows? She knows.
Yeah.
She can go and show you where Granny and so forth and so forth. You know,
Where they lived.
even her mum's dad's grandparents. And
Yeah.
stuff. You see, the identity issues are different. And then even if somebody said, "Oh, well, go back to your country," should I say, "Okay, Kenya is my country." So,
Yeah. But for people
but now
that
maybe a Caribbean is being told, "Go back to your country." They're now looking and saying, "Oh yeah." Right? They're now looking and saying, "What are you talking
Yeah,
about?"
country.
this is my country.
Yes.
Right?
I was
They're
born
looking
here.
because now me, I heavily identify with Jamaica. Now, here's the interesting thing. And this was a Jamaican who said, "Oh, you know too much about Jamaica, so much about Jamaica, and it's not your country."
Okay.
And it's a Jamaican that said it. Now, I just said, you know what? I could eat that person alive, but I'm going to allow it. Do you know why I didn't take on board the person? Because this is the prejudicial assumptions
Yeah.
and the mindset that has been infested,
Yeah.
indoctrinated into too many of our people.
Yeah.
Because Jamaica is my country.
Of
That's
course
my
it
roots.
is. That's your culture.
And if we want to go back further than that, I know where even to look for my roots beyond that.
Yeah.
But Jamaica is my roots. My mother and father were born in Jamaica, so that's my roots.
Exactly.
My whole cultural identity from before I was even born is Jamaica.
Yeah.
Because even in my mother's womb, I would be hearing reggae music. And that's not a lie, it's a truth.
Yeah.
Right? Which is why when I was born, I was literally practically born dancing. Right? Every time they put on music, I'm doing the little baby's doing something, and I'm still like that till today. Right? And they found it hilarious. Why? Because it's in my blood. Right?
Yeah.
Of course.
That's like somebody telling me if I went to Italy, somebody telling me that oh no, you're not Italian. But I've had that before. You're not Italian. You can't be
because
Italian.
you're brown.
Yeah, because I'm
Because you're
brown.
too brown.
And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm not Italian, but yet I have several members of family there, cousins, uncles, aunties.
And that's what I'm
my
saying.
grandmother lives there. My great grandfather, grandmother lived there, made the
they're
house,
buried there.
buried there, yeah.
And beyond.
And beyond that, yeah.
And again, this is where it all gets complicated for people
Mm-hmm.
because the whole dynamics of how you trace your identity, who you are, where you come from,
Yeah.
that also makes a difference to how you project yourself
Yeah.
out into the world.
Yeah.
I've made sure that my children have a very strong identity
Mhm.
of whom they are as best
Know
as
where we
possible,
come from.
you know, and even the ones who don't too pick up on that too well, they still know,
Yeah.
right? And this is what I'm saying. Now, when you start putting here, oh, the Bangladeshis, this, their education, nah, shut up, Tony
Yeah.
Sewell.
Shut up.
And him being in the position that he's been in, working with people, young men of color and so forth, he should have done better than that.
Yeah.
Oh, we want to look at this and see what makes. You don't need to look at it because you know what the differences are.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
You know that the
And you
difference
know why
starts.
the differences
The
are
difference
there.
starts right there in the classroom
Yeah.
because you'll have two boys sitting next to each other, both of color. One is from a Caribbean background, one is from an African background. They come from a different dynamic and a different understanding,
Yeah.
right? Why? Oh, but they're the same. No, they're not the
No,
same.
no.
Because one of them came that route through slavery,
Yeah.
which whether you like it or not, because again, this is the thing that he didn't want to talk about.
Yeah.
No, that's in the past.
No,
Well,
but
it's
it's
not
not.
because it's in their
Still
blood.
affecting
It's in
us
their
now.
bloodline. It's in their DNA.
Yeah.
They've come from a different dynamic. Some of them don't even know where to belong
Yeah.
because of all of that.
Mhm.
So it's not the same.
No, it's not the same at all.
I'm not going further than that because we talked
Even-
on this before.
Even if you say
But that's not even,
a white
you know.
person, but white people at my school used to be racist to like the Polish people and,
Mhm.
and that, but they look the same.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's that then?
Yeah.
Why are you being
Exactly.
racist to someone who looks like you? Because it's not racism, is it? It's actually
It's
Oh,
cultural.
yeah,
prejudice.
cultural prejudice,
because
yeah.
they don't have the same culture.
yes. Oh.
Number 7, invest in proven interventions through better targeted funding. Not interested, not going to talk about that one. Money is always the issue.
Yeah, it's always
Government have it,
And they don't want to give it.
and they don't want to give it. They give it where they feel like. So
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what, I
I'm not
want that.
interested.
No.
You have more than enough money to fix everything.
Number
No.
8.
Number 8, advanced fairness in the workplace. Well, okay.
And how
Yes.
How they
He
gonna
says,
do that?
we call on organisations to now move away from funding unconscious bias training. Praise the Lord.
I
So
like
at
that.
least this one, I think,
That's more the most normal one.
they say that the existing training should be replaced with new interventions that, when implemented, can be measured or evaluated for their efficacy. Use of sponsorship to ensure wider exposure of ethnic minority individuals to their peers, managers, and other decision makers. Training and routine skill support for all employees. And such things as collaboration, confidence, communication, presentation skills, which is basically life skills. So, and this is the issue that's been talked about and been going on for a long time. That people in general lack life skills,
Yeah.
emotional intelligence,
Yeah.
right? They don't know how to communicate properly,
No.
and hence the reason why they communicate with expletives and all the rest that goes
Yeah.
with it, you know, in areas and at times when they shouldn't, you know, and this is the reasoning why. But again, you know, I understand, you know, what he's saying, because he's saying, oh, that it should be a panel of academics and so. But you see, this is where I think no, it shouldn't be a panel of academics. It should be a panel of academics with
Normal.
the real community,
Yeah. Average Joe.
Right?
Like they call them.
because otherwise, what will happen is that they will say, oh, this is just another school lesson,
Yeah.
right? And it will only end up being in school.
Yeah.
Or it will be only for people who are forced, maybe those ones who
At
are on the
work.
benefits and are being told that they have to
Do
go
this
for
to
some
get a job.
training for a job or
Yeah.
something like that. It's going to end up being like that,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
means there's going to be something that goes in one ear and
Yeah.
straight out the
Well,
other.
they're already doing
Because
that
even
with
if
them
they-
But if
job
you do it
skills,
with real
interview
people,
skills.
if you do it with real people who can have a discussion on real lived experience,
Yeah.
positive and negative,
Mhm.
that's how it's going to best work.
Yeah. Definitely.
Right? That's how it's best going to work.
'Cause
Bring those who are prejudiced. Bring them to the
to the
table.
meet, yeah, to the meeting and
You
to
know?
speak, because you know what will be, if they don't do it like that, all that will be happening is that something will happen at work. Somebody will then complain to HM or whatever, and then they'll say, "Oh, this so and so has said that you said this or you did that. Then we want you to understand that this is wrong, and you need to now do this 5-minute course on the laptop."
See, all of that is
And read
rubbish.
through the thing,
It's all rubbish.
and either you pass or you don't.
And then
And
when they
then
don't,
when-
then what?
Exactly, who knows?
Mm.
Hopefully fired, and
Yeah,
I
but that's
highly doubt
hopefully,
it.
and we know that ain't what's happening.
Probably just disciplinary. We'll discuss whether we will keep you on, and then they will.
Yeah, but let it be the other way around. Then.
So, and I'm not convinced that the government, because he's put there in his preamble here that the government are best placed to guide organisations to high quality materials and resources. I don't think they are
No, I don't
Which
believe so.
organisations?
all,
No,
but I disagree. I think they're not,
No,
No,
they're
no,
not.
because I think this is why things exist the way that they do,
exactly.
with a disparity in the workplace.
Mhm.
And I think it needs a much deeper look than just that.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
And like I say, I mean, I've mentioned before on other lives some of the things I've gone through in various workplaces, obviously not all, but most of the altercations that I've had in any of my jobs have always been cultural prejudice
Yeah.
and kind
Colour
of prejudice.
prejudice,
Yeah.
yeah.
Same
Same for me,
Basically
same.
straightforward,
Yeah.
nothing else.
Otherwise, I don't have an issue.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not been an
They
issue
love it
that
when I'm on the phone.
it's not been an issue that I'm a
You
thief.
know.
It's not been an issue that I'm doing my work
Disruptive,
badly.
yeah.
It's
I'm
never,
not
never the
disruptive.
work.
Never that.
I'm not slowing things down.
Yeah,
I'm
or-
not inefficient.
Yeah.
No. So then what is
What
it?
is
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Racial
And
or
cultural.
cultural
Yeah.
prejudice
Yeah.
and colour.
Colour prejudice.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
And those are the things that have to be defined and looked at properly. Because otherwise what happens is they're saying, oh, well, there's a difference in the way that people speak and things. Well,
Yeah,
yes,
but that's irrelevant.
because that's the issue, that you don't have to alter the way you speak,
No.
but
They love
the people who
that.
work with you need to learn to understand.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about who speaks good English or not.
No.
Mhm.
I'm talking about even from a cultural perspective.
Because there's certain words you
Mm.
may
You know.
say or phrases you may say,
Mhm.
and someone will be like, and kind of confused or like, oh, I don't know what you're trying to say.
Like simple things like when we talk about discipline and say beats, we don't actually literally
don't
mean-
necessarily
Yeah,
mean
you will get
beating.
beaten up.
It's
Yeah.
just- that's how we speak.
It's the way we speak.
Yeah.
Because it comes from the pato.
Yeah.
You're gonna get her beaten.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
But at the same time, it's that where they choose. When
Oh,
I
yeah.
say they know who they are.
Yes.
Right. So I don't have to define they.
Yeah. No.
They choose to twist what they want to
Oh,
twist.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Because when they want to speak how they want to speak, they do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
And we
everybody's
must
supposed to
understand. And
Yeah.
that's what I was literally coming to.
So, for instance, I'll give an
Yeah.
example that there was a time when the phone had gone missing on one of the wards I was working on. It was one of them, hand portable.
like a little,
Yeah.
And somebody had
house
skipped
phone.
up. I think probably one of the patients had skipped off to their room.
to have a little chat with someone.
Right. So the phone rang,
Oh,
and
so
then
you could do that.
the nurse in charge got herself all vexed up and said, are we going to get off our asses and go and look for this phone then?
You see what I mean?
So she shouted that across the ward.
Innit?
So I sat where I was, and I said, well, she cannot possibly be speaking to me because I don't know who she's talking to in that manner,
Yeah.
right? But that is not acceptable for me
No.
to be spoken to like that. So she cannot be talking to me. It must be the rest of you,
Yeah.
and I'm not part of that conversation.
Yeah.
Innit?
And that's exactly the
Yeah.
reason why I would have been there,
You already know.
And she didn't.
putting myself down even
She
harder.
didn't say a word because she knew,
Yeah.
right?
That's right.
But I
Because if
said,
you were to say something like that,
yeah,
it would be,
would
oh,
have-
You couldn't even
excuse
finish
me.
no, it would be reported.
yeah, you can't say those things, and they'd be calling you into the meeting and,
Yeah.
and all this
This is
stuff.
what I
Because I
mean.
told you, remember that job I had, the first job I ever had at that call center, which I still think that there's some little con artist, money laundering, something ain't right there, yeah. And then, so obviously, I'm there hearing, no, not even that one. It was one before that one.
Before that.
Yeah, I'm there. When they made me, when they make you listen into calls so you could understand how to speak to the customers and stuff. I'm hearing people, right? And the woman was like, "Hello, miss, would you like to blah, blah, blah?" And the lady was there, "No, don't ring my phone again." Boom, and put down the phone, right? And then the girl that was, the worker was like, "All right, you little cow." No, like that, yeah. And then was swearing, saying, "Oh, that little BIT," and all of this, and then rang the next customer and then was like, "Oh, hello, blah, blah," back to normal, right? So I was laughing because I was thinking, these bosses ain't listening into this, because if they were, they'd be saying, "Excuse me, you can't be doing no swearing."
They
on the
listen in
line."
when it suits them,
Right,
when they
listen.
feel like it.
Listen, then
I already
next
know.
minute, right, I'm on the phone. I'm speaking to the lady, and then she's there trying to catch me out because apparently she's been put down to not get calls yet. So why is she getting called, and what's my name and all this stuff? So I've just had to beep and just cut the call, right? I've just been like, "Sorry, madam, we won't call you again." Boom, cut the call. Yeah, then I've been like, "Oh, I really can't be asked with this job, man." To my friend, yeah. Tell me why they're pulling me in the office fast, and I mean fast. I'm talking about 3 minutes after I said that. "Excuse me, can you come to the office, please? Yeah, we're gonna have to let you go because you swore on the phone." I said, "When? When did I swear?" "Yes, you did. You said can't be asked. So you're not supposed to say that to customers." I said, "I didn't say it to the customer. The line was off." Then the man said, "Yes, well, we're still gonna have to let you go because
they just wanted
we
to,
can't," because they
that's why.
wanted to." Yeah. Then the man said, "Oh, you can stay for the rest of the day if you'd like."
No.
I just said, "Oh, shut up." Yeah. And then he's there.
Because why?
"Oh, would you like to go and get your stuff?" I just grabbed my stuff. Then the man said, "Oh, are you all right?" And to him as well, once again, I said, "Oh, shut up." Yeah. And then he said, "Oh, are you leaving?" I said, "Quite clearly, you can see that's why I'm collecting my stuff."
Why wouldn't you be
Yeah.
leaving? They just told you.
And
to
then he
leave.
said, "Oh, because I've let you go, I won't be able to give you a what do you call it?
reference.
A reference." I said, "I won't be asking for one."
Why would you ask for a reference from someone that told you to leave anyway?
Exactly. And what reason did they have? Yeah, because it wasn't even just, I don't even think it was color prejudice. That one was cultural prejudice.
Yeah.
Because they didn't like, according to them, my character and my, my nature wasn't correct for them.
Yeah, that's what I had with that
Yeah.
manager when I was at M&S.
Exactly that one.
Chatting about, I have this larger than life character. What the hell is that supposed to mean? What has that got to do with my work?
You're doing too
No
much.
customers
at
were
work.
complaining about it, so what is your problem?
But this is it.
You're too much. For
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. And they
And
don't like
they
it.
don't want you to be like that.
Yes.
They want you to be.
They want me
And I
to not
can't
be myself.
They want you to be, to use a word that my dad used to use, and I don't think you guys understand it. I'll try to explain it. He said they want you to be too Kamuji. Somebody who is Kamuji is rotten coconut Tony Sewell.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
Exactly like that.
And that's never going to be there.
Yeah. So you'd be like, "Oh, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Why don't you smile more?" And it actually got to the point, and I think this is why they
Chatting
didn't
about
like
how
me.
I'm intimidating the other colleagues, I didn't chat to them.
This is the thing. The guy
Not
said,
one
"Oh,
conversation,
why
but
you
apparently
not-
I've
why can't
intimidated
you
them.
smile more?" I said, "Listen, right." And at first, I wasn't saying anything. I was just, when you just laugh it off because you're thinking, "Move, man.
Yeah.
I'm not even entertaining you lot on your rubbish." Then one day I said, "Nah." I said, "Sorry, excuse me." I said, "Stop telling me to smile all the time." I said, "There is actually nothing wrong with me." I said, "Just because I'm not, what do you want me to do? Sit around
Yeah.
everywhere I must go?"
And then it'll be, have you seen her? She's always smiling.
Fake. Yeah, what's wrong with her? She's so fake. No, I don't have time to entertain your cultural
I am who I am.
prejudices because you don't like the way I behave or carry myself.
Oh, a
Yeah.
resting face is a problem.
Yeah. Because I'm just sat there, you know. Because I was just like that on my computer. That's normal, you know. Oh, what's wrong?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, nothing.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, exactly. But according to them, oh, there must be something wrong with me.
Yeah, because you're not sitting there skinning teeth
Yeah.
24/7.
Or laughing at their dry jokes.
Right then.
Anyway, no comment.
Because you know, that's why.
Recommendation 9 and 10 is about investigating and improving the understanding of the ethnicity pay gap. Right? And well, we already know what it is. We've said.
Yeah.
So, you said racism doesn't exist, but the pay gap exists.
Yes.
Yeah.
What
Right? And
what's
how
that?
come the pay gap? And why does the pay gap exist? Because they don't like promoting people
Yeah.
of color
Yeah.
as fast as they promote some
Yeah.
of the others.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to jump through 7 more hoops than
Yeah.
some of the others. do.
Exactly
So
that.
that's why the pay gap exists.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because then it also means that even when they're getting increments,
Mhm.
they will look, and I'm telling you,
Mhm.
because this is what managers will do.
Yep.
They will look to discipline certain people so that they don't get their next increment.
Yeah. Oh, you can't be
Mhm.
the manager yet
Yep.
because
Yep.
there's a little thing on your
You can't be
record.
supervisor now because we
Yeah.
decided to give you that discipline for
Yeah.
no reason, so now you can't progress any further.
Yes.
So there's all
Yeah.
that. Bam. Anyway, I said we're going to try and clap them all up, so we need to move a bit faster.
Right.
Number 11, establish an office for health disparities. Keep that. Smell that.
We don't want your help.
We're not
care
interested.
anyway.
We're not interested. When we need to go to the doctor, we'll go. When we need something from you, we will ask you.
Yeah.
Right? You and your health office, where you want to now use us as guinea pigs and experiment.
Yeah, we ain't the
on us.
guinea pigs, mate.
Keep your vaccine, keep your whatever, and in fact,
Let Tony Sewell and his people them test it
sit
out.
on them yourself.
Give it to him.
Let the coconuts try it out.
12. Prevent harm, reduce crime, and divert young people away from the criminal justice system. Shut up.
Yeah, it's true though. What rubbish.
Shut up. That's what I have to say. Because you know you ain't doing it.
No,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
there was things in place already before and you took them
and
away.
took them
Yeah,
out.
they took them out.
Fix the jam police, and then
Yeah,
a lot of this
yeah.
won't be there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Simple as that.
That's it.
Because
Nothing
the
more to even
The
say.
criminal justice system for anybody begins at the police.
Yeah.
We know it goes further than that, but it always begins there.
Mhm.
So fix them first,
Yeah.
and this won't even be a discussion. I'm gonna ask them more than that.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Fix them first.
Yeah.
Dirty police.
Yeah.
Fix them. Because we already know that the sentencing is different for people of color
Yep.
than it is for those of non-color.
Yep.
Even the stop and search is different.
Yep.
So just fix the police.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sort
Yep.
that first.
13. Build social and cultural capital.
Hey.
So this one has to do with a longer school day
Yeah, this is
for
what they're trying to
disadvantaged pupils. This is an absolute load of rubbish.
Of course it
And
is.
again, this will be
Disadvantage
Tony Sewell, 100%.
Of course.
Right? Now you explain to me this.
One child school day is long enough.
Right? You already have the fact that the people of color are the ones who get booted out of class more.
Mhm.
Yeah, put in
The people of color are the ones who get put in the sin bin more, as I call it.
Yeah.
Right?
Just removed from the lessons.
And they're removed from the lessons.
Yeah.
They're not in the lesson, and they're not studying what they're studying inside
Yeah.
the lesson. And I know that from years ago it was like that, and it's
Yeah.
still
Like that
they're
now.
still studying some other rubbish,
Yeah.
right, or doing nothing.
Yeah.
Twiddling
That's what
their
they
out
do.
them out there for days.
Yeah.
Right. So then they drop behind
Mhm.
because they're not picking up on the curriculum,
Yeah.
and then they're expected to do it in their own time. And they're given different work than the work that they missed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Whereas they should be given the work they missed.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what
And then-
detention is used
and
for.
then-
before.
A lot of them will be into, maybe many of them are doing already extracurricular,
Yeah.
athletics
or
and
swimming.
all them type of things.
Yeah.
And now you want to add and make the school day longer.
They will never be out of school.
You are an idiot.
Yeah, they'll have what one full day out of school.
And this is supposed to build social. It's not building anything because too many children and young people of color don't have a positive experience in school.
No,
Yeah.
they
So
don't.
they most certainly don't want to be there longer.
No.
Right? They'd rather be there for less hours.
Yes.
Than more.
Exactly.
So what I do that was swallow it.
Mhm.
Rubbish. Increased legitimacy and accountability of stop and search through body worn video. Well,
Well,
when
you
the
already have
cameras
that,
are
and you
they've
getting
switch
already
it off
got
when they
them,
feel
and they
like.
switch them up when
Yeah.
they feel like.
Oh, there was
So-
an interference in my
Mm,
body.
so
cam.
your
until-
hand was over it.
Until they bring in the community safeguarding trust groups
Yeah, to
and then
investigate those
start to
things.
investigate those policemen and start to discipline them,
Yeah.
there's nothing else to discuss,
Yeah.
right? Because the camera's already there and they're
Yeah.
not used.
Yeah.
They obscure them and they do all kinds of rubbish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll muffle them off so you
Yeah.
can't
Right.
hear.
So now when they
these
start to
things.
discipline them for those things, then we can talk,
Yeah.
right? And yes, he does say in there that they should have a look at it and see whether or not they need to be disciplined and so forth.
But they
But
should.
that's
That's
it.
it.
And if they're not going to do that, then don't talk to us.
Exactly. What's the point?
You know,
Allow it.
Yeah.
Basically.
empower pupils. 15. Empower pupils to make more informed choices to fulfill their future potential. Again,
They
really,
try to force you to do certain subjects.
they
Yeah.
push
They push
they
you.
push people into certain things.
Yeah, they do.
And what's going to have to happen is that they're going to need more people of a variety of color, backgrounds, culture, and all the rest that goes with it to come into schools and to be speaking to young people about careers and
Mhm.
and what's ahead.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm saying all this academics.
And that there's
Fine.
more than just
No, we want
university and-
the reality, and that it's not that everybody must go to university.
Yeah, because
And
that's
the
the
only one,
narrative they
because
see.
people are going into university and they're coming out with a degree in an orange and pink pen,
Mhm.
right? Which on here you can't hardly see the difference, but
Yeah.
that's the degree that they got, the orange and the pink pen degree, right? And I want to know how much they're going to yam from
And
that
with all of this,
throughout their life.
the prejudice and the systemic rubbish, the amount of degrees don't really make much difference when you're a person of color in
No.
certain things.
Because
No.
that's what then happens. The person, you have two people, one person may even have a better grade than the other when it comes to like GCSEs and A levels, and they've both got the same degree. They then look, okay, where are they from?
Yep.
What's their background?
Yep.
They see
And
this
that's it.
person is white, English, from a well-kept, wealthy background. This person is black, as they would call it, maybe Caribbean, because that's the one they're least likely to employ. Because of course, Caribbean people are more vocal about
Yep.
certain things. So they see, oh, this person is black, Caribbean, comes from a low socioeconomic background, comes from like a poorer lifestyle. They're not the one for us. This one is the one for us. Pushed to the side. And that's happening everywhere.
Of course it
No
does.
matter how many degrees,
Yeah.
whatever you've got. People have doctorates and
Yeah.
can't get
Can't
jobs.
get a job.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And again, rotten coconut, Tony Sewell doesn't want to look at the realities
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
behind
just
all
wants to
of that.
feed people rubbish.
Mm-hmm.
So, open up access to apprenticeships. Well, that's similar. We kind of talked about that already under the other one. So
Yeah,
it's
the
again
one-
similar.
number-
Like that,
You know.
Prince's Trust and that.
Yeah.
What they need to do with that is extend the age and stop trimming it off.
Yes.
Yeah, they
They've
need
got an
to,
obsession with trimming off the age.
yeah, they need to extend the age, but they also need to have a wider scope
of
of,
apprenticeship.
of apprentices,
Yeah.
and they need to have a wider scope of people who are scrutinizing,
Yeah.
so that you have people from
And
all
accepting
walks
the
of
thing,
life
Yeah.
That's
who are
it.
looking at the people and not just fuddy duddies. Let me
Mhm.
put it that way. you know,
Yeah.
because they've got a different world view.
Yeah.
So some people who should be able to get through didn't.
Mhm.
17, encourage innovation. Yeah, banks will help with that as much as they can. And they're going to try, they're suggesting that universities and banks kind of work together to encourage more innovation. Again, it still goes back even earlier than that. You've got to make young people feel right from school.
Yeah.
you know, and give them confidence
So
at that
they're
school
learning
age.
who they are.
You know, otherwise, what happens is they'll find their own identity another way, and they may find the wrong identity until they find the right one.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what's ending up happening.
Mhm.
18.
Experiences in school
Mm.
sometimes make them not want to go for further.
That's why they don't do it for a long
Yeah.
time. You know, because they've had such a bad time
Yeah.
in school.
They're done with
And
it.
to be fair, quite a bit of that carries on into university
Yes.
as
Yeah,
well.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
Yes, it really
even
does.
with the so-called blind marking, and there's no such
There's
thing.
no such thing
There's no
no
such
way
thing as
about blind
marking.
marking.
They know who they're
Liars.
marking.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause that's what was happening. It's certain people out
Of
there getting
course they
high
know.
up grades.
From-
And I know they ain't smarter than me.
If they work at the university and they've got your name, they can look and see who they're marking. It's that simple. They are on the system. Anybody who's marking people's paperwork, they're on the system.
Yeah,
They can see your
try-
picture there by your
Yeah.
name.
They
They
know.
know who you are.
They know.
All that
So-
blind marking is rubbish.
Lies. Improve safety and support for children at risk. Okay.
That's good to a certain
Um,
extent.
I don't know why that's
Under this.
particularly in a race. report.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
they're
again,
trying
it's
to
because
think
you're
that-
trying you're
That's
trying to
rubbish.
jump there in the same bandwagon with everybody.
Yeah.
It's not really.
Oh, there must be some
yeah.
issues that they're probably chatting about. When people are getting a few beatings.
There's put down here about escaping the criminal justice system, you know, before you get to the. Now, again, what you know, I
You're
said
trying to think.
we don't want to go
Well,
too
we've
much
hit
longer.
2 hours now. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to go for too much longer, so I don't want to even say, "Yo, yeah, idiot."
Yeah, innit? What more to even say?
You
You're
know,
trying to think there.
I can't even just stop because this right here. In fact, this one here goes back again to the same thing. Fix the dirty police.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right?
What
What do I have to say?
Fix the
Because
police and the social
many
workers.
of them,
Yeah. Yes.
well, they're police as well.
Yeah, they are, aren't
They're
they?
just
Yeah.
with a different
Without the
kind of
badge. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a different
Yeah.
badge.
We want to
Yeah.
call all of them police.
Yeah, innit? They're all police.
Yeah, they're all trying to
Yeah.
police your life.
So
Yeah.
here's the thing with this. If you are doing the right things, some of the people of color who end up not being able to escape the criminal justice system, they would have been able to.
Yeah.
Right? So fix the dirty police.
Yeah. Right then.
That means it.
Mm.
19, undertaker support for families review. I'm not even going to go there. Shut up.
Because you know what they're trying to
Shut
say.
up.
Yeah.
They're coming once
Right.
again with their cultural.
Shut
prejudice.
up. Because families review for whose family? Which
Yeah.
family?
Yeah, exactly.
And
The way-
who are you
the
to
way-
tell someone how to
The
live?
way a Jamaican man will run his family and the way an English white man will run his family. And they can live right next door to each other.
They could even
It's
be
not
best
the same.
friends.
It's not
Two
the same.
separate things.
I've heard, let me just give a wild example, but it's, 7-year-old Pitney walking on the road there with his mother. Shut your mouth. Please try it.
Could you imagine?
Never.
I don't
Please.
even know what I'd do.
Please.
Actually, I know. My body would react for me.
Well, for a start, wherever we were going,
We know
wherever
long
we were
ago.
going, we're not going. I don't care if we were starving, hungry, and there's no food in the house. We have to go home.
Yeah.
We can't
Yeah.
stay on that road
No.
after you've told me shut your mouth.
Yeah, no
We
way.
can't.
Because today you have obviously lost your mind.
Yeah.
So all this thing, when you don't want to look at lived experiences, I want to know what this family's review
Yeah.
is going to do. Because you can't tell me that my family must look like the white man's family,
Yeah.
right?
We are not
And
the
that the
same.
way how we live inside here must be the same way. First of all,
It's not.
we make whole heap more nice than all of them, right?
Listen,
Well, and-
all
and-
rubbish.
And that's not stopping.
No.
No,
It's not
not.
stopping because we know who we are, and who we are is who we are,
Exactly.
right? But now all of a sudden we must become like somebody else because then we'll all be the same.
No,
No.
we're not all the same, and that's what they. But you know why anyway? Because when you really look into it deeply, it all boils down to the same thing. That we are all humans, yes,
Yeah.
and that's why they want us all to be the same. And when I mean them, I'm talking about the Nephilim people,
Yeah.
who are at the top.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's
That's
why
right.
everyone must be the same and all
Yeah.
thrown in one pot
But
and
we're
just
not.
shut up. Yeah,
And I'm
and
not
we're not all
accepting
the
it.
same. We have different cultural
You know,
backgrounds. We are
that's
all
right.
from different places,
Yeah.
different experiences.
And all this here is
Mhm.
really not to do with color
No.
and culture. It's
No.
just because
It's just foolishness.
this whole thing about
Fill out the
the
report.
support for families we do, because you're going to look at it and say, what? They're
Yeah.
never going to be the same.
No. So what's the point?
Right? They're not going to be
Not the
the same.
We don't do things the same. We
No,
don't
we
party the
don't.
same. We don't have weddings the same. We don't have funerals the same. Nothing is the same.
Is
Not even how
actually
they
the
go to
same.
church is not the same.
No.
And yes, we do know that modern times are a bit different
Of course.
and times do change and so on and so forth. But let me just give you a little example. My two daughters are here. I tell no lies. And I don't care even if they thought it was a lie or not. We're not busy. Listen to this. There was a young lady who came to stay in our house. She's, well, I suppose in appearances she's white. So there was a discussion. This was a few years back now. Anyway, both of them were here. Oh, my dad doesn't get served first. He will wait.
I remember.
That was what she said.
When her dad came. I remember now. When her parents came to visit or whatever.
And I was like, really? And I said, well,
That's not the cultural
I said,
background that we come
we
from.
don't come from that,
No.
right?
Yeah.
They're not soft, right? But if I sit here and I say I'm not moving and I want my dinner, I can get my dinner. Because if they decide, oh well, we're not doing it, it's a cool. Because I won't say anything, but there'll be consequences. Yes, it's cool. Don't do it. We will not have an argument, but don't take me for an idiot either.
Exactly.
Right now, English people might turn around and say, when I say English, I mean white people. By the way, that's my dad's language.
Yeah.
You know, white people may say, "Oh no, get your food yourself.
Yeah.
You've got hands, haven't you?
That's
Why are you doing that?
abuse.
Why are you making them forcing it? No,
You don't understand the
Yeah.
no.
It's about respect, and that's
Yeah.
where the difference is.
Got
The
nothing
levels
to do
of
with that.
respect within the families or
See?
the cultures.
And what
Nothing
you're
to do
teaching
with
your
that.
child. Yeah, because that teaches
They've
respect
seen.
and
I think
discipline.
Angelica wasn't here that time. My dad, when he was alive, the last time he came to England, he was a miserable old man.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was old,
Yeah, that's
know what I
right.
mean?
It was old.
90 odd years old, miserable.
That's what you want, and
Time
that's
with the
it.
fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was here.
We were.
Listen, I came from work. Listen, I came from work
Yeah.
and I bought a whole heap of fish, a bucket full of fish, because I know when he wants to eat fish, he can clap them hard.
Mhm.
So I said, okay. And then I said, all right, now, because we had to rush a bit, and I had worked, right? So I can't help that.
No.
I came home, I said, right, everybody give me a little helping hand here where you can, so we can get this fish done. Show them, we scaled, we did whatever. I'm showing them as well, because then they know. We fried the fish. Dad, fisherman I want now.
Yeah.
Too late.
Yeah, too late.
I don't want any now, it's too late.
But then he still wanted something though.
Yeah.
Bun and cheese.
Yeah. That's good some bun and cheese. And I remember I had to go to the kitchen to laugh because I thought Granddad too much. No, but nah. Just give me some bun and cheese.
Yeah. Listen, if you have the fish, you have it.
That's what
That's what you think.
That's what you
But
think, yeah.
you don't do that.
See, that's what I'm saying, because maybe English people would stand there and start arguing with their
I'm
parents.
not doing it, Mum.
And why do you blah blah? I said,
Yeah.
I said, okay, Dad.
It's all right.
No.
Cinnamon and cheese, yeah.
And I am by no means soft.
No.
I wasn't scared of him or anything to do with anything. Manners and discipline.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
that.
So
And
when,
respect.
when you're doing this so-called support for families review, I wonder how they're
Are
going to
you
do.
supporting that?
Because I'm wondering
Innit?
how, because they're not going to support such that
No.
like that.
No, they're
You
not.
see, oh, why are you forced? Why are you making them do? Why are you? Because I remember, God help us, we have to try to.
I know.
Close it off.
But we'll get there. I remember, I went to do a training with social workers, and they gave a scenario. And in this scenario, they actually played it out, and then said, "Oh, what should you do?" So in the scenario that they played out, right, in the scene, the woman was at home already and she was on the phone. The child comes flying in
Oh, yes.
and starts chatting, and the woman is like, and carries on the phone. The child comes in her face, really excited, pulling her sleeve and all this, and eventually the woman, oh, all right, just give me a minute, because really she's really excited about something. She's got to, and I'll call you back. So they have their little conversation, ready, this and that, boom, and they finish their scene. So they ask us, what do you have to say? Now the room was full of
already knows.
a mixture of people. I am a Jamaican. My wife is a Kenyan. There was a man there from Africa. There was a woman there from, I think it was Iraq, and then some white people. So they asked everybody. The African man and I almost simultaneously, no chance. She can go in her room and wait.
Yeah.
I said, what the hell?
You better come out from the room wherever I am.
I said, no. He said, no. So and you know what the right answer was according to those social workers?
Yeah, let the child have all the rights.
Let her have, she's really, you have to remember that some of these children, they're very vulnerable, blah, blah, blah.
What's that got to do with
No,
anything?
they're very rare.
Right then. Yeah.
That's what they are.
Because they never had no manners or
Right?
discipline.
So for me, there's
Right.
no.
There's certain things that you don't do, and you don't
Yes,
do
well,
that.
and-
If it's an emergency,
And you see, if she
that's
could,
the
that's
difference.
right.
If you're bleeding,
yeah.
But
And you say,
otherwise,
"Dad,
if you can't wait,
Yeah.
exactly, that's different. And
Yeah.
if you can't wait, you'll tell me tomorrow or next week.
Yeah.
For real, you won't be able to even tell me that day because there's no,
Yeah.
absolutely no way.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear.
Yeah. You will wait
No.
for the simple fact that you've had no patience
Yeah.
or respect.
You
simply
see?
because
And they-
you're
and
you thinking of
you didn't listen to the first, and then you come in. Now that's
Because
disrespect.
they just
It's
grow up
respect.
like that.
Yeah,
and then they go
with
out
no
into the world.
manners.
and don't want to be told nothing. By
Don't want to
nobody.
be told anything by
Yeah.
anybody, talking over people
Yeah.
Yeah.
and all kinds of things. We're not having it.
Yeah, exactly. Then
So-
you've got people of you're stepping forward.
Can you not see it's supposed to be 2 meters? Can you move back?
Thinking that they can speak to people any type of way. They
Mhm.
feel like
Exactly.
just because their
because.
parents allowed them or their
Because,
kids.
and because they feel that now we're in this time and era where we
Yeah.
can speak to people like that.
Anyway,
Because
yeah,
you're not
because of
you're
the
not the
pandemic.
same as
Yeah,
me.
that's what it is. But
Again,
they're the
you see,
people
all
that
this.
usually end up getting
You're
broke up.
not the same
They
as
do that to
me.
the wrong
I'm
people.
wearing a mask. You're
You're
not
not
wearing
wearing a
one.
mask,
So
so
you're not
you're
the
not
same
the
as
same.
me.
Yeah, you're the one
And
causing problems.
you're an idiot because you're not wearing one.
Yeah,
but really
Well, I'm
you're
not
the
wearing
idiot
one
for
because I
wearing
don't want to wear one. I must
Yeah.
have a reason.
Don't have to, innit?
Right, 20. We're getting there. Oh yes, I'd even making of modern Britain curriculum. No,
No.
we ain't having it.
No.
I don't want to know unless you're telling the truth.
Yeah.
We don't want to know it because
No.
you know why you can't tell the truth, because too many people will be upset, crying, and there'll be people like Winston Churchill, who all these British
Too many
fanatic people
people.
love. that will be
With a
crossed off.
racist pig.
Yeah.
That's it. Too many people are believing the little whitewash story.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
But
gonna
it's what I'm
ruin
saying.
their mind and throw
They
their
want-
whole life
They want an online
out.
library that's available for all schools to use, complementing and enhancing the content and quality of lessons so that all children can learn about the UK and the evolution of our society. No,
No, I
No.
don't
because
want to.
the
Not interested.
evolution of their society is not the evolution of my society.
Right.
Right? Yes, I'm here in the UK, right? And I've gone to school here and so on and so forth. But the evolution of their society is
Yeah,
not
it's
the
not the
evolution
same.
of mine,
No, it's not.
right?
And we're not interested.
No, I'm not interested.
I'm not interested in your unless
Because
you're gonna
if
come
you
with
if you
truth.
even ask me, well, why are you in England? I'm in England because my parents came here and I was born here.
Yeah,
You
this is
already
where
know.
we're born.
But I never
Otherwise,
asked. I
I
never
would be
asked
in-
anybody to bring me here,
No.
right?
Yeah.
But I'm here, so I make the most of what I'm doing. But
Yeah.
now you're trying to tell me that I must look at slavery from a different point of view and with different eyes and look for the richness. There's no richness in it.
Yeah, where am I supposed to look? Oh,
The only
look for
people
the-
who can find richness in
development
this
in culture
In them teeth in
are the white people,
and the Nephilim.
Yeah.
right?
They're the
And
only
those
people.
black people who are not humans.
Yes,
You see?
simple as
And that's
that.
why I say that when we speak and we're talking about the reality of who people are, it goes a lot deeper
Yeah.
than just, oh yeah, he's racist because they like my skin color.
Mm.
It's a lot more in it than that.
Yeah,
We've talked anyway about it at other times, so those who know, they know. And if you don't know, we don't care now,
yeah.
right? Because we've talked
Done
about
with
it
that
and we always,
conversation now.
Well, it's
and
there. You can
we
go back and
always
watch the
do
other lives.
emphasize on it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're not
In
arguing
almost
that point.
any time it's there,
Yeah.
it's emphasized. So
Yeah.
there's nothing more to be said.
No.
So, 21, create police workforces that represent the communities they serve. I didn't even underline one thing.
No.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Once again, it's another one that don't even need to
Because
be
it's a load of
spoken about.
rubbish.
It's
Whatever.
foolishness, no one cares. Because when people that are from different communities and backgrounds are trying to get in the police, you lot are Xing them off.
Right there.
Yeah. So no more discussion to be had.
We're not
Stop
interested.
crossing people off and not letting them have a job.
Yeah.
And then maybe there will be more diversity within
Exactly.
and representation of different communities.
Next.
Yeah. Yeah. Next. Exactly.
Yeah. 22.
Rubbish.
Equip the police service with skills to serve the needs of their local communities.
Next.
Another one. That is
Go away with it.
rubbish.
Because again, same story.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. From the College of Policing. I applied to the College of Policing.
Yeah. And what did they tell
Yeah,
you?
as a,
Some
as, a,
rubbish.
as a recruitment assessor.
Mm.
And they didn't want me
Yeah.
because of nonsense.
Yeah.
I have no criminal record. My son does.
Yeah. But
But they
that's
start
you.
asking me questions about my son.
Your son
My
might apply
son
for the
didn't
job.
apply for the job.
Yeah.
and they know
I
where
did.
he is.
Exactly.
And he's locked up
Yeah.
in prison. And I'm not sitting in his cell.
Exactly.
And even if he wasn't locked up there, what I'm doing professionally, I'm not sharing it with him because
Of
it's,
course
not, it's
not.
not his work,
Right then.
Yeah.
right? It's not his work.
Mm.
And it is the dirty, stinking, nasty Metropolitan Police
Mhm.
are the ones who did it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who
right?
they are.
I was even
Yeah.
set up on the payroll.
Mm.
Even had my thing from the HMRC.
Yeah.
So that means they're ready to even pay me. I'm ready
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah.
All it
And
needed
then
was
suddenly,
for the dirty, nasty, stinking Metropolitan Police
Yeah.
to finish the vetting.
Yeah.
yeah.
Zoom, and I'm going into my work.
Yeah. They blocked it off.
Right?
They look at
Nice little money as well. You know, daily rates.
It wasn't going to get you to be a Freemason. That's why.
Yeah.
You
And
see?
so they knew it couldn't
They
work.
already knew.
And they knew you wouldn't be they knew you wouldn't be hiring none of their Freemason friends
Yep.
to come into the workplace, and you would have been barring them off from the registration and all them things, and that's what they didn't want.
Yeah.
And they knew who they was, and that's why they tried to use that as the excuse to cut you off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because there wasn't any other reason,
Mm-hmm.
and that ain't even a reason.
No, it's not.
23. Use data in a responsible and informed way. Yeah.
That's boring.
Yada, yada.
Goes
yada,
back to the
yada.
same thing of the
same data that you use for this
artificial
report.
data and
Okay.
whatever else.
Moving
we're
on.
not interested because
Recording
It's not-
stuff. Mate.
Yeah. Exactly.
record
Get
real
the
stuff,
lived experiences.
Mhm.
speak to real people,
Yeah.
because there's some real stuff they can tell you.
Yeah.
That's ongoing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know,
Happening
we're
every
bringing
day.
up stories of stuff that's now.
Yeah.
You know, but what do we know?
According to them, nothing.
24. This aggregate the
One of
term.
them.
Bam. Black, Asian, minority, ethnic. Yeah. Kill
Allow
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kill it.
off.
Murder
Yeah.
it. Smash
Murderize
it.
We don't appreciate it. Not one person of color that I've spoken
I've
to
no
appreciates that
one.
side.
Every
None of
single
us.
person I asked, they're like, and what even is this?
Right
About
there.
BAME.
None of us.
Nobody's
Yeah.
interested in
What
BAME.
is it? What
Kill
is
it.
it? Because I don't hear you using a generalized term for all of you different cultural groups of white people.
Yeah, exactly.
Where is the generalized term? Where? It's not there. So
No.
why are you doing it to brown people?
Yeah, exactly.
Let it go. Simple as that. There's nothing more to even be said.
No, there isn't.
And stop calling us a minority
Yeah, we're not the
ethnicities.
minority.
Yeah, because we're actually major.
Yeah,
We're the
they're
majority. So if you're going to call us anything, then make it majority ethnicities.
Exactly.
Yeah, not no minority. Stop spreading false lies.
Yeah.
So,
Narrative.
are we ready for who really runs the world?
They
Are
ain't
we
ready.
ready for that topic?
They ain't ready.
Well,
They ain't ready.
I was looking. Well,
They ain't ready.
I
People
saw
are
a
still
good
having
little
disagreements about
documentary
the
the other
pandemic, so
day.
you already know they ain't ready.
It was Israel actually brought me in on that one. It was about Benjamin Franklin.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we should go there a little bit. Let's
Something like
see.
that.
Let's see.
Like the founding fathers or something, as they call them.
What that rule there?
Mm.
Let's talk about who really runs the world.
And who's behind the scope? What's
Really long time.
Yeah, Alison knows, mate.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
Let's jump on it next
Yeah.
week.
That's what we need to do.
So
next week.
we'll talk
Who
about
runs the world?
we'll talk about the Black Pope.
And it's not
Mm.
girls.
And it doesn't
Beyonce.
mean
It's not dark
doesn't mean
skin.
like the skin color.
No.
Nope.
It
Talking
means,
about
it
his
means
heart.
black as in his heart is black.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We'll talk about the Black Pope. We'll talk about the Jesuits,
Yeah.
who are the assassins of the Catholic Church,
Mhm.
and one or two other things. We won't be able to cover everything. We'll see what we get through
Some of
next
the
week.
founding family.
But if we need to talk, we'll talk about it the following
Rothschild
week.
and-
Rockefeller.
We'll start it next week and we'll see where we go.
Yeah.
But certainly next week we'll touch on the Black Pope, because a lot of people don't know about the Black Pope.
No, they
So I
don't.
think we'll start there.
Even though it's like.
So let's, in fact,
famous.
next week, let's talk about them only.
The Black
The
Pope
Black Pope and the
the
Jesuits,
first. Yeah.
right? Who
Start
really
with them.
runs the world?
Mm.
The Black
Mm.
Pope and the Jesuits. Let's talk about
Yeah.
them next week.
Yeah. Juicy.
All right.
Yes.
Good night and God bless.
Everyone. Good night. Told you I can't.